Live from New York, it's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. What's happening? Episode number 83. How about that? What's going on around the world? Who's excited about today's show? I am, that's for sure. Hell yeah. You know who we are. You know why we're here. Absolutely. Welcome. Welcome, my friends. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. I'm so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside. You got to see the show. It's a dynamo. Hell yeah. Welcome to a show today that's going to be rich in New York hardcore history and folklore. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. We are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, The Texas Silver Rush, Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards, and Your Core Hardcore fan page. What's going on? What's going on around the world? What's up, Chucky? Yeah, it's going to be a banger today for sure. Adam Sachs, you want that? Oh, you still want that Slayer Biohazard poster? Signed by every single person, each band, along with the laminate from the tour in the corner there? You got it, bro. You got it. Oh, who's feeling the Don? Oh, you feeling my Donna Summer shirt already? I figured it was appropriate, why not? What else? Hello, everybody around the world. One of my last shows seen last year, Judge in Essen, Germany. Right on, brother. Right on. Larry Kelly, you're here and you're not driving. Good. Listen, if you're excited, I'm excited, hun. Hey, Michelle, how are you? Another Sunday in the books. Good afternoon, family. Yo, it is Sunday shout out day, so we're gonna get to that. Lenny and Michelle. Hey, Lenny, do you and Michelle are you watching this on the same computer, or are you in different parts of the apartment? What's up from Florida? All right, hello from Chile. All right, glad everybody's here. Listen. You want to have a good time? I want to have a good time. Fuck it, let's have a good time. Before that, I want to mention a couple of shows that are coming up. The next 4 shows, we just booked a bunch of shows too. So anyway, coming up, next 4 shows. Let me clear the deck. What the heck? Let's go, yo. Let me get rid of all it. Fuck it, let's have a good time, huh? What else are we doing in the middle of this pandemic? Next 4 shows, here we go. This Wednesday, it came up fast. I think she's watching. Nancy Burrell on the show. I'm not holding your coat. Bazillion Points is her new book that's out. So we're looking forward to having Nancy on the show. We're talking a little bit of old Philly hardcore, old Boston hardcore. And we always love having gals on the show. So that is exciting. Then the show after that, a week from today, is Gary Meskill from the Crumbsuckers and from Propane. That's right, Foul Taste of Freedom. We got Gary Meskill coming up. What's up, Jamie? Jamie from SSD Control. Hey, bro. Listen, here you go. What else? Yes, we're all stoked on Nancy's show. Then from the Offspring and H2O and Juliet and the Licks, Todd Morse. And then is the big global Unity show with our friends from Beijing and Hong Kong. So all that's coming up. Yeah. What did I do? What's up in Colombia, South America? All right. Oh, Peace from Madrid. Impatient to hear Mike. Well, listen, bro. You're going to have to wait a couple minutes while I go through all the bullshit about who supports the show and who sponsors the show and who's coming up on the show. So hold your horses there, Madrid. That one's making a comeback. Hold your horses. My grandpa used to say that. Hold your horses. He was so old that, they had horses. That's how they got around. So it was hold your horses. So that said, once again, this is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards, your core hardcore fan page, and the Texas Silver Rush. The Texas Silver Rush is a jewelry design firm and boutique store located at the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. They specialize in working with musicians in all music genres to design and create unique one-off pieces, as well as to style them for stage, album covers, promo photos, and social media exposure. Their client list includes Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Greg Rollet, Ringo Starr, and of course, the mighty Agnostic Front. During this current pandemic, all information and online sales are being taken at their Facebook and Instagram pages, and of course, www.thetexassilverrush.com. Joe Ramini, we love you, bro. Also, while we're at it, how can we forget our boys up in Dobbs Ferry, New York, talking about New York hardcore comics. They opened back in 2013 when lifelong friends Debo the Pro and Lee Fairley combined their collections and obsessions for comic books, punk rock, toys and statues, Magic the Gathering, and all things horror. The store is located at 117 Main Street in lovely Dobbs Ferry, New York. If you want to support them during this pandemic, please contact them via email at newyorkhardcorecomics@gmail.com. There you go, yo. That said, I'm wondering, you're wondering, we're wondering, what is up with the hardcore shutterbug, Steven Messina? Here he is. What's up?
What's up? How's everybody doing?
Oh, are we doing a fist bump?
We are. There you go.
Oh,
We'll do a headbutt.
My brother.
Gotta love you kicking the ELP at the beginning of the show, by the way.
Listen, man. Listen, I'm wearing a Donna Summer shirt.
That's it.
Anything goes, man. Anything goes.
That's it. Hey, you know what? It's Shout Out Sunday. I want to shout out AC Slade, the Cat Fight Coffee. Catfish. Yep. Sorry about that.
You ordered some coffee from him?
I did. I had to. I ordered the espresso too, and it's good. I raked about 20 things of leaves this morning on the 1 cup of coffee. And
wait a second. You raked 20 things of leaves?
Things, the thing. You put the leaves in the
thing.
Oh,
the thing. That thing with the leaves in it. The thing.
Oh yeah.
Hey, your mic is rubbing against your.
Again here.
Listen, help me help you, bro.
It's because I'm moving around.
I know you're excited. Help me help you.
I am. It's the coffee. Right. And I want to shout out Agronautics. I got my Jimmy in the mail this week.
Nice.
It's funny.
Got to shout out Big Rob from Bitter Uproar tuning in. What's up, Rob?
Nice.
Yeah, man.
I also got a Greg Graffin from Bad Religion, but he's in the other room.
Oh, Poorly Pork Chop Svids, shout out to coffee.
Yes, amen to that.
All right. So here we go.
Here we go, yo.
Photo of the day. Wrong answers only, please. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we go. Wrong answers only. Boom. Photo of the day.
Ah, look at that.
What do we got here? Let's see. Well, I see a couple of our friends in there.
Yeah.
I see. Well, yeah. Let's see what we got. Here. Let's see what comes through on the burner, on the line. Come on.
Got me on the line.
Got me on the line, yo. Is it Sha-Na-Na? Is it the Backstreet Boys? Is it Styx? Good one. Good. Don't move your head because you're rubbing the fucking mic. And if you don't stop,
all right,
I'm going to come over there and I'm going to throw that cat out the window. Is it Blink 182? Is it, good one. Is it Donna Summer? Good one. Is it ICP? You're doing good. Is it Queen?
Trying not to move my head.
You can move your mouth but not move your head. Is it Venom? Is it Pennywise?
I think you said Venom.
Is it Kansas? That's another band. Yo, honestly, that's another band I hate.
Who's that?
I mean, you want to talk about hate? Kansas, Styx, Billy Joel.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Billy Joel.
Fuck Billy Joel, man. Seriously.
But you went Styx and Kansas are kind of in the same genre.
Yo, aren't they the same band? Styx, Kansas, Billy Joel.
Billy Joel is a whole different animal. They might not let you on Long Island if you say that.
Dude. All right. Enough silliness. What do we got? First thing, I think people might have a hard time. Is it SSD? Good one.
Ah.
Is it Striper? Is it? Oh, okay. Okay. Larry wins with this one. Is it Rob Gronkowski? Good one. Love it. All right. Here we go. Now, I will say this. I do recognize our beloved, dearly departed, lost friend, Todd Youth on the left. And I do recognize on the right is our friend and great show supporter, Todd the Kid Hamilton, right?
Yep.
And you sent me a couple of these, right? Hold on.
Yeah. This was a great day. This was.
All right. There's another one. Hold on. Oh, here you go. All right. How about that one?
Oh, I love this one. That girl's in that moment hard right there.
She's doing it, man.
Yeah.
She's absolutely doing it.
That's it.
All right. Is it the Rabies tribute at Black and Blue? Is it the Bob Seger band? That's good. I love that.
Oh my God.
Warzone. Close, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
And also, good point, Eric. The dearly departed Vinny Verga.
Vinny Value, yeah.
Vinny Value, yep. Yeah,
Vinny and Todd sharing the stage too, which was really awesome.
I think this is the Rabies tribute, the Rabies tribute, right?
This is the Rabies tribute at the Black and Blue Bowl. God, what was that? Was that 09? I sent you the poster, and it's just left my head right now. I didn't write it down. That was the one Rancid headlined. It was an amazing Black and Blue Bowl. And, Vinny Stigma got out and sang with them. There it is. Yeah, look at that bill. What a bill that was. Youth of today. Oh, my God.
Hey, there's Todd Hamilton. He knows. Todd's real good. He has a good memory.
2012. God,
2012. Yeah, and it was
8 years ago. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Who did I see that? I saw a couple bands. I saw Minus play, DYS, Hazen Street, The Mob. I shot The Mob on stage. Outburst.
Rancid killed that night. They were so good.
I wouldn't know. I split before they played.
They were great. It was you know what? But just like the Warzone tribute was so much fun, and Ray got out and sang, and Freddie got out and sang, and Vinny got out and sang, and Toby and looking at the pictures now, seeing Vinny Value and Todd Youth together, it just makes you really happy I was there, just because you know what? I was out of the country for the Warzone tribute at Tompkins Square Park. I missed that one.
Yeah.
And that was another one that's the only Tompkins one I missed. So,
well, this part of this was so we enjoyed this so much. Speaking for myself and cousin Joe from Black and Blue, we enjoyed this so much that when it really sort of planted the seed when we want to do another like Rabies tribute thing and the thing we did in Tompkins Square Park.
God, it was just when you hear what I loved about it was when you heard all the different singers. Anytime you hear like a tribute like that, it really makes you realize the power of each song and how good the songs are. Yeah, look at that.
That's there's Rat Bones on the right.
Oh shit, look at that.
Hey, Rat Bones, you're doing it, man.
Oh man, do I got to give him a royalty for this?
Yeah, right. All right. Hey, I got to keep it moving and grooving, baby.
Absolutely.
Thank you, man. And
Thank you.
We'll see you towards the end of the show.
Absolutely.
Okay, see you in a bit.
Later.
Bye. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles live. What's happening, everybody? Super exciting show today. Just want to remind everybody, what else? Real quick, before we bring our guest on, want to remind everybody that enjoys this show. If you didn't know before, you know now. Not only is there a PayPal to contribute to this show, but there is a Patreon page. Don't be a Hatreon, join Patreon. If I could find the link. There you go. There is a Patreon page. Please support this show on Patreon. I want to shout out my latest patrons on Patreon. Brian Ramsey, thank you, bro. Brian Ramsey stepped up. Thank you. GP, Andrew Shaw, Bill Ferry, Jamie Sharappa. Yo, if Jamie Sharappa from SSD Control can come on and be a patron on Patreon, a guy who, like, seriously pretty much changed my life. First hardcore show I ever went to was SSD Control. If he could come on and be a patron, you can come out of the shadows and come out of the dirt, out of the dark, and get out of the dirt and support this show. Because your support's what makes this show happen. You think I like to be up here shucking and jiving? Not particularly, but we need your support to make the show happen. So please come aboard. Jamie Sharappa, Mary Diana Nowitzki, and a shout out on PayPal to Devor Gajovic in Croatia. Did I get it right, brother? Croatia? So there you go. That's what's happening. There you go. Olaf from the UK, Patreon Pride, PayPal or bust, please. There you go. There you go. That said, it's that time. Let's bring our guest on. Let's clear the deck. Is that right? Al Baril says he's loaded. I assume you're referencing Jamie Sharappa, who's supporting the show. You know. Let me clear the deck. What the heck? Let's bring our guest on, and away we go. All right. Strap yourselves in. It's guest time. Today's guest is an American singer, songwriter, and drummer, born and raised in the Garden State of New Jersey. He is best known for his work with Death Before Dishonor, Youth of Today, Old Smoke, and of course, the militant straight edge band Judge. Please welcome, coming at us from upstate New York. Yo, it's time to break out the big guns with A7 alumni, Mr. Mike Judge. Brother.
What's up, brother?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you so much for coming on, man. It's
a pleasure, man. I'm a fan.
I know, man. I'm honored. I'm honored that you watched the show and you've watched so many of them. You know.
Yeah, I sling records all day, so listening to your show makes the day go by.
That's great. That's great. So let's talk a little bit like what was happening when the zombie apocalypse hit for you. Did you guys have shows booked? Like what? How did this thing change your life?
Yeah, we had shows booked. I kind of don't pay attention to that, so I just know we had stuff coming up that got canceled. We were lucky enough to play a few right before everything fell apart, and then that was it. It was over.
It's over for everybody, and now we're just sitting in a waiting game, right?
Waiting, yeah.
Just waiting. So tell us, where'd you grow up? How did you grow up? Where'd you come up?
Well, I grew up in New Jersey, Morris County. It's like 25 minutes away from the city.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of hillbilly at that time. So it was mostly as a little kid by myself, and it wasn't until I got into school and I found out that I just didn't like mesh with the rest of the kids around me.
Mm.
So I was always kind of like an introvert and on my own.
And you, sadly, your mom passed away when you were very young, right?
Yeah. Drugs and booze like ran through my family like a fucking house fire, brother. So there were pretty much no one was left untouched. And my mother was a victim of that. As Joe Strummer would say, she was so pilled up she brattled.
Well, at least we could have some. At least we keep a little bit of a sense of humor when it comes to these matters. So your dad was a real taskmaster and drank hard. And did you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I had an older sister and an older brother. Both passed away. And then I had another older brother who's like 10 years older than me.
Wow.
And never got along with him. My father was like worked all day, drank all night type of guy.
Oof.
So didn't really want to have like a little kid around. So I was like passed around here to there, here to there. Spent a lot of time in like West New York, you know, with my cousin who was a fucking like full blown junkie. And so I spent a lot of time, you know, I mean, I can tell you where I was during the blackout of like 77. I was like in the back of a car with my cousin, you know, taking people's merchandise, so to speak.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, you know, we're I mean, we're pretty much the same age. We're from the same generation. And I think I mentioned this before on other shows, like, yo, growing up back then, drugs and alcohol were prevalent, man. They were everywhere.
Yeah, no doubt.
It was a big part of growing up, and you know, and listen, it was a big part of me growing up in the city, and it was a big part of you growing up out there, man. It was just like, it was almost like it was still like there was echoes from like the 60s or something. There was just still doing drugs, and it was cool, you know, growing up.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there was like a lighter side of the whole deal, but you know, with my family, for some reason, they were just dope fiends. And you know, like I remember being like 10, 11 years old in like a movie theater in the Bronx while my cousin cooked up 2 rows behind me.
Woo!
You know, like,
wow.
So, you know, I was spent more time in methadone clinics, you know, hanging out with her and shit. And so naturally I was going to, you know, fuck up myself, which I did, and, you know, young. And because there was no supervision, there was no one to tell me not to do this, you know, and I was already like on my own, making up these things, making up friends and shit. And then, you know, somehow I made it through to high school when I finally met people who were like fucked up.
How did music come into your life? Tell us that, like, how did music like come into your orbit?
Before I really loved a specific kind of music, I just would listen to the radio at night because it just kept me company, you know. And used to listen mainly to the words. They were like stories to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, I get into high school and I'm just having a really fucking hard time with everything because I just don't know how to assimilate with these fucking people.
Yeah.
And then I just happened to meet this kid who was like punk rock, you know. I didn't know what punk rock was or anything. But, you know, people were giving me shit because I was fucking weird. And people were giving him shit because he was weird, but he was weird because he was into this thing. And so I was like, somehow talked to him, and I was like, if I could be like a punk rock like this dude, you know, then I'll know why people don't like me, you know, because I'm this, you know. It wasn't, in my mind, it was, you know, I'm going to get these people not to like me because of music that I'm into rather than because of actually who I am. And because of him, he introduced me to some other guys who happened to be in a band, and it just steamrolled from there.
Do you remember who this guy was and what band it was?
Well, the initial guy was a guy my age. His name was Pete. He introduced me to these older guys who were like juniors and seniors.
Right.
And they were in a band called Sand in the Face.
Sand in the Face. Good name. Good name for a punk band.
They're actually a really good band, and their record is really good if you can find it. And they're the guys who were just like, you know, they let me come over their house, watch them practice. Mm-hmm. You know, after the first practice, they lent me like the Jealous Again record to take home. I listened to that. I was like, holy shit, you know, from the first time I heard it's not my imagination, I got a gun at my back, I was like, holy shit, this is what I've been looking for.
I'm in. I'm all in.
And then they took me to like my first show, which was like this big show, Urban Plaza. I think it was like Kraut and like Even Worse, Beastie Boys, some shit like that.
Oh, okay. Hold on. We got that. All right. Keep going. Keep going.
And so I went to my first show. It was like, I was fucking hooked, man. And, you know, we were only like a couple towns away from the Misfits, so they became a big deal. So whenever the Misfits would play, we'd all go to those shows. But I was like fucking hooked. Like I wanted to do this all the time. And these guys wouldn't fucking. Yeah, that would be the
there
one,
you go.
brother.
Was it Oh, this might not be it. This is Misfits Kraut, Even Worse.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen all those shows.
Yeah.
Urban Plaza was like a big deal.
Urban Plaza,
and then
Urban Plaza was a big deal for sure.
After that, those guys, you know, being where I was in Jersey, there were Jersey bands, but I just couldn't get to see them because there's no like trains or anything where I'm from.
Yeah.
I'm in the fucking woods. But
you came in, you saw that first CB's matinee, right?
Yeah, I learned, you know, I remember we would every once in a while when someone wouldn't drive, we would take the bus in. So I heard about this show going on the weekend. It was like a Saturday, and no one would go, so I took the bus in by myself, and
wow.
it was like an agnostic front show, like John Watson singing and shit.
Oh wow.
That was it, dude. I was like every weekend after that.
So when you first started coming in, I mean, I know what year that was. You must have been what, 15, 16 years old?
Yeah, I was like 14, 15.
Wow.
But dude, it was like no thing, man. I was having a ball because I was used to being by myself as it was.
Right.
I would get out of Port Authority and step onto like 42nd Street, and it was like a playground. You know, there was like so much shit happening. Yeah. There was always somebody getting had somewhere. I fucking loved every second of it.
And once you have the drill down, you take the bus in at Port Authority, you know, you get on the bus downtown, you take you take the train downtown, you take the 2 trains, you get off by CB's, you know, you hike it a little bit and you're there, you know?
Oh yeah, it was the bus, Port Authority, train to 4th Street.
Yeah.
Fucking Bleecker Bob's, look in there, can't afford any of this shit, keep walking. And then that was it.
Try to avoid Bleecker Bob, who would scream at you, you know. You know, he's
word.
You know, I read somewhere that David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust had a big influence on you. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, like my older brother, he had all these records, and then he was like getting into like, I don't even know, dance music and like disco type shit in the early 80s. And he didn't want any of his records, so he just gave them to me. And it was like just a shit ton of music. And the stuff that stuck out to me was like the Bowie record. And, you know, I remember the Ziggy Stardust record I listened to that religiously. And
loved it.
The first like 4 Sabbath records, like,
yeah,
they were just, that shit was like life changing.
Absolutely. A couple shout outs here. Hoya Rock says, "What's up, Mike?" You know,
oh yeah.
Al Baril says Mike should be proud of his tenacity to overcome these obstacles. His music has changed so many lives. Mike is very inspiring.
Fucking Al Baril. Let me tell you something. You know, there's like a lot of bands have done a lot for me, but none as much as SSD Control.
Yeah.
I mean, we had like that band Stand and Face, like I was saying, the singer's girlfriend, she was like pen pals to all these people, and she was like down with like mail order with Discord and shit. So she was getting all the Discord records like when they would come out. And so I heard like the Minor Threat, the first couple of records when it came out, and I was like, yeah, it's cute, you know, I get it. And then I would read some shit, and there was always like, well, they're like class president, people dig him. I'm like, I just felt like I had nothing in common with that, you know. And then you know, Kids Will Have Their Say. I actually bought Kids Will Have Their Say from Newberry fucking Comics.
Oh wow.
And yeah, dude, that dude Pete, who I first met, his mother had to do some work in Boston, so we went with her so we could just hang around. We went into like Newberry Comics. I remember it's funny because there was this dude sitting on a ladder, like a step ladder. He was sitting on the top of it. We were looking for shit, and he was like, he pointed out like the Unsafe at Any Speed record, and then he was like, "Here's my band." It was like DYS, and that's who it was. It was fucking Anastas sitting on this fucking
Oh yeah, he worked there.
ladder, you know.
Yep.
And I took that shit home, and but Get It Away, that record, forget about it. That was religion to me.
We've talked about this, you and I, and that's we've bonded over this. And people ask me, what is my number one hardcore record? And I've decided in my life that it is SSD Control, Get It Away. And the kids will have their say. I was around for that, huge influence. But Get It Away, man, that
record was everything.
Yeah,
that whole fucking. Did you ask if I minded? That was fucking. I fucking get it.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love that. And it's crazy. I think, what is it, 8 songs or something? Or I think it's like eight songs. That's it.
It's 8 songs, but if you put it on repeat, it's a ton of music.
So I know there was sort of like a life-changing moment when you went down to CB's. You were still drinking, and there was an incident, and it really sort of changed your life as far as drugs and alcohol go. Could you tell us about that?
Well, I was used to getting fucking beat up because in my town, fucking, you become a jock, you get on the football team, you graduate high school, you become a cop. That was that was the drill. Right. And so these football players, we were like target practice for them. You're walking down the street, you're just going to get the shit kicked out of you. It's used to it. I never really fought back, like, because I was intimidated by these guys. Then I started going into New York, and I remember it was like the UK subs were playing like 2 nights at CB's in the middle of the week. No one wanted to go, so I went by myself. There were night shows, and I did what I usually did with these older guys, is we would get like a bottle of whatever from across the street, and I got loaded, and I guess I did something because I got the living shit kicked out of me. Just like I caught one bad, Drew. Caught it bad. And I remember
right there on the dance floor of CBGB's.
Yeah, right off to the side underneath the monitors is where I finally woke up. Caught it bad. And I remember it was Eric Casanova. He was like, I was coming to, and he was helping me up, and he was like, I was like, what happened? He's like, you got fucked up, dude. Whatever. But the other part of that story is I missed the last bus home.
Right.
So I get to Port Authority. It's after 1 a.m. So I missed the bus. I have to stay in Port Authority at night. So then these fucking cops come up to me, and I guess they think I'm a runaway or I'm homeless because I'm all fucking busted up. And I'm just waiting for the bus. So to get away from them, I go into the fucking bathroom, and I make pretend I'm taking a fucking leak, and they walk up behind me and they bash my fucking head like into the wall. And they tell me, go back to work, go back home. Don't come here. And they fucking leave me there. And now I'm like, my fucking nose is smashed. I'm just fucked up. I make it to the bus, make it home. I'm walking down that fucking street, and I was thinking about the whole fucking night. And I was like, I'm like 14, 15 years old, and I just fucking survived like all that. I was like pretty stoked on myself. And the next time I seen those fucking jocks, like, they just didn't scare me anymore, because I just fucking like went toe to toe with some, who the fuck knows what he looked like. John Belushi to me, he's like this big fucking dude. Mm-hmm. And then I got beat up by fucking cops, and I'm fucking here to tell about it. So like these fucking small town jocks, they just didn't fucking scare me anymore.
And you came up with sort of like with Randy, right? Randall Underwood, and part of that Nutley crew. Did you hang with the Nutley crew?
After a while, we met like Mark Ryan.
Yeah. Became
friends with him, and when someone would drive into a show, he'd we'd stop in Nutley to pick him up. We wound up hanging out in Nutley, where he introduced us to Keith and Randy and Big Frank
and like Kabula, right? And
yeah,
the Nutley crew.
yeah, and those were those were like the best times. Cause for Alarm, all those guys.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I say? I've said this a couple times on the show. Like my early memory of that era, like that is going into Stevie's, and there'd always be some, when you first walk in, and there's always like this dull thudding noise down there in the dark. It would always be Cause for Alarm on stage, thudding away. Like to me, in that moment there, that we're talking about, Cause for Alarm to me really encapsulated New York hardcore.
Yeah. They were super important to us because we were like young and crazy, and they were a little older, and they would let us go crazy, but not to the point where we get fucking they would never let the city eat us up. They'd always keep us in check. And like I remember they were like, the Bad Brains were like playing in like some fucked up squat in Brooklyn, and everybody was going to go. But they're like, it's really dangerous, so we're all going to go together, meet outside like by Gildersleeves, and we'll all go together. Like Keith was organizing and shit.
Right.
And I just remember like being a part of that pack, and I was like, this is the most fucking family I've ever had in my fucking entire life. Like these guys actually fucking care. Yeah. And so I would die for those guys. I mean, that early New York scene was everything to me.
Absolutely. I think as a young person, that sense of community and culture resonates so deeply with a lot of us. Like for me as a teenager, rolling, being part of that original, Boston thing with SSD Control, we being a part of that, still, really resonates. It really meant a lot, to me. So, how did you get into music? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Death Before Dishonor was the first band you played in?
First real band, yeah. We tried to start a band before that, kind of with the same guys. It was called Future Confusion. And
I love it, bro. I love it.
And so I was singing, and we just couldn't get it going. And but we started hanging out in New York then. And once we started hanging out in New York, Keith and everybody introduced us to Roger and Vinny. And Roger and Vinny like took us under their fucking wing, and they were like guiding us. They were like, you got to change your name, you got to do this, you got to do that, and like we need a drummer. They got us a drummer. They got us Billy Psycho. And so I was singing, and Billy Psycho was on drums, and we played A7 like a couple times, and some other fucking club I can't remember.
You played as Death Before Dishonor? Yeah. Is that this maybe? Hold on. Could that be this, or is this after the lineup? This is a great A7 show right here. Agnostic Front, Death Before Dishonor, Crumb Suckers, and Mental Decay.
I think that's probably after I turned over to drums.
Okay.
But I just remember playing A7 once or twice with me singing it, and it was like, I think we went on at like 4 a.m, 5 a.m. It was like daylight when we got done.
Oh hell yeah!
And then we were going to play again, and we couldn't find our drummer. We couldn't find Billy. And then we walked outside A7. We're like, hey, has anybody seen Billy? And they're like, well, we've seen him go into the park. So we went after him in the park, and I think he was hanging out with Crazy Eddie, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
Because he was like, let's just say he was like not able to play that night.
Just you saying that, the thought, it makes me, I could smell, I could smell the dust,
Exactly.
Oh fuck.
So then we were like, we wanted to be in a band, more than ever. And so it was me and the two U brothers, Jimmy and Steve. And Mark Ryan was like our friend. Yeah, that's us. Yep. And
who's drumming there? Is that Billy Psycho drumming?
That's Billy.
Okay, so let me just tell everybody out there that this is a Randall Underwood photo. real early on in the game. And from the same roll of film, there's like The Mob and a couple other. I think this was some like youth center in Queens or something, right? Or in the
I've seen this picture because Randy sent me his book, and his book is amazing.
Yep.
But I don't remember where that is.
Listen. I love the moose head above the.
There's a big moose head.
Fucking moose head, big moose head.
There's a lot of karma going on in that picture.
Cheers.
Word. But we had Mark Ryan, who was always hanging out with us at rehearsals and stuff, and we wanted to get him in the band. So I was like, I'll learn how to play drums, and then Mark can sing, and that's, we changed, and now that's the Death Before Dishonor lineup that played most.
Was it that easy to pick up drums?
I mean, I wasn't great. I was good enough. I was serviceable. Yeah.
Right.
I got better as we went, but I was determined because, when you don't have anything you get, you want to hold on to. And that was something I had, and I would have done anything to protect it. And I just wanted to be a part really bad. So.
Is that right? Our friend Chucky Brown, our resident historian, who's incredible. He says, "Is it true for a whole week you played Can't Close My Eyes album on a snare drum, a hi-hat, and a kick drum only to practice?"
Yeah. I got kicked out of my house. Like, I had met the Youth of Today guys, and they needed a drummer, and they asked me to try out.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I was stoked, but I got kicked out of my house. So I snuck in, and I grabbed a snare and a hi-hat, and then I took it to my girlfriend's house, and I just played like to Can't Close My Eyes like that, just to learn the song so I could get in that band.
So just before we go into Youth of Today, but it looks like a lot of the Death Before Dishonor stuff. You guys played some great shows. It seemed like you played a bunch of shows with Agnostic Front. They really did take you under their wing.
Oh yeah, they were the driving force of everything for us. I mean, they were like our brothers. I started, first I started hanging out and then wanting to stay more. So I wound up crashing at Apartment X, on the weekends,
right,
until that got like a little crazy. I remember Vinny was like, the kids got to go to school. You can't be sleeping at Apartment X. So I spent a few nights in Roger's van, and then some nights at Vinny's, and they took us everywhere, man. They were like our brothers.
Yeah, here's another one. Agnostic Front, 7 Seconds, Death Before Dishonor.
Yeah, this is the show. 7 Seconds didn't show up.
Oh.
And this was the bomb threat show. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Someone called in a bomb. I think I can't remember who they were. Some 3 initial fucking group said they were going to blow up CBs because of, a supposedly agnostic was, whatever.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I remember everyone was out on the sidewalk, then out on the sidewalk, in the place, out on the sidewalk, in the place. It went back and forth and back and forth. So tell us how this came to be a little bit on how you came to play drums for Youth of Today.
So we were in Death Before Dishonor, and we started playing more metal type stuff, and it just wasn't going well. We played CB's one last time, and it was like, it didn't go well at all. So I felt really bad that I felt like I kind of turned my back on like that whole early New York thing that we had. So I just like fell out of it. I just stopped coming to New York, period. And I was just staying home. I was like really bummed. I really thought like I turned my back on it. And so after a while, Mark Ryan called me. He's like, "Hey man, there's this new band, and they're playing up in Boston. Let's go check them out." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm kind of over it." And he's like, "No, man, you got to come check them out. They play hardcore the way it used to be, like we fell in love with. Let's just go check them out." And it was Youth of Today. So we went up to the Rat, saw Youth of Today play.
Oh, you drove up to Boston?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a trip.
It was worth every second because
Nice.
I just automatically fell in love with Youth of Today. So then, like a couple weeks later, we drove out to Philly to see him, and then I was fucking hooked. And I started. And at that point, they moved into New York themselves. Ray and Purcell moved to New York.
Yeah.
So I'd run into him, and then I think it was like the night the Cro-Mags were playing the Ritz, and I was walking downtown. And I ran into Ray on St. Mark's. And he was like, "Hey, we need a drummer. You want to try out?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah."
Fuck yeah. Yeah, that's and so was it a tryout or was it basically like the way it was back then, which was, we think you can cut it, come to the rehearsal and we'll take
it must have been something like that, because like I said, I didn't have a full drum kit at the time, so I couldn't really play. And we just went up to Giant Studios, on 14th Street, that rundown place.
Yeah.
Went up there, and it was like, Craig Ahead and Richie Underdog, played guitar and bass, and I played with them while Ray and Purcell just watched. And I didn't think I was like playing fast enough and shit, and I really didn't think I pulled it off. But after I was done, they're like, "All right, you're in the band. We're going to Canada next weekend.
Woo!
Let's get it going." And I was like, "What? Canada? Isn't that a whole different country? What do I got to do?" Like I was like freaked out. Never been, furthest I've been was like Philly and fucking Boston and shit. So I was like, "Hold it, I'm gonna play somewhere like that." It's crazy.
Here's a shot. I don't think this is seen the day much. This is from October in '87 from Airport Music Hall. That's you back there. Philip Fuller took it. You're back there doing it, and there's Ray and John playing, and this is when this is a very rarely seen Youth of Today shot with you playing drums. There's not a lot of shots of you and Youth of Today playing drums.
And that's because Ray is so cute.
Yeah, right.
Look at him. The fucking airport. The Airport Music Hall, man. How many times have we knuckle up in that parking lot? God damn. Spilled a lot of blood in that fucking place, I'll tell you.
God. I remember when Biohazard used to play there. It was lunacy, man.
Damn. That parking lot was fucking lit after a fucking show, man. Sometimes during the show, we were scrapping on the way in, scrapping on the way out. It's crazy.
For years it was like that, man. For years. It was always on. And it was like, we're going to bring Rat Bones on later, but it reminds me of like Detroit, Harpo's in Detroit. It was always some shit going on in Detroit in Harpo's, man. Same kind of stuff. Mac Ray. Yo, what's up, Mac Ray? Drummer for Antidote, NYHC. And good to see you, Matt. Hope you're well. What else? Here's a question. Did Mike replace Tommy Carroll on drums, or did he replace Drew Thomas in Youth of Today? You remember?
I think I replaced Tommy. I think Drew just was there for the record. He just recorded the Break Down the Walls record.
Yeah, I think that's that.
I think Tommy didn't want to tour or something, maybe.
Right.
And I just wanted to get the fuck out, so I was down.
Well, touring was sort of fun back then with your friends,
Yeah.
So you're in Youth of Today, and you're touring around, and Ray and Purcell, just have this real kind of positive message, on a lot of fronts, and they took a lot of shit for it. And after a while, it wore you down a little bit, and you weren't appreciative of it, right? Tell us a little bit about how you got tired of the shit that you guys were taking.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of, the way I came up with like, it wasn't much talking things out, it was always like, use your hands. And they were different. And in the beginning, I was with it, but then after a while, I was like, some of these dudes need to get checked, man. Like, I can't keep swallowing this. And it kept, just building and building and building. And it's not that I wanted to like kill everybody, but I thought some people should have been made an example of, and they just weren't down with that. And so there were definitely cracks in the fucking foundation of that whole thing while we're on tour. And
those
then
guys are kind of turn the other cheek kind of mentality.
Yeah, and I tried, but I was just getting tired of it, and I just sometimes felt like I was being reprimanded for feeling the way I'm feeling and shit, and and some of the criticism was just stupid and unnecessary, like the Maximum Rock and Roll bullshit and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's so many times when like when you're on tour back then, and it's why I love these guys today. They're still the most important people in my life, was that crew of guys that I met at that time. And because there was no like communication, there's no cell phones, there's no internet, there's no computers. When you get into the van and leave, it's you and the guy next to you, and you rely on him, and hopefully you all come home. And that's the whole deal. And so when you're out there, you're like fucking pirates. You're just, it's you against everybody. And even when you're not getting along, I still love those guys. Like, they're family. Blood has never been family to me. Blood has let me down time after time after time. But these guys are my brothers. Seriously, my brothers to this day. And I just felt like I could protect that legacy more if I made a band that was willing to fucking go out and take respect.
Yeah, and I know I'm really appreciative that you talked about this very situation in the New York Hardcore Chronicles film that I did, which, by the way, you can watch on Amazon Prime anytime. You were in Florida. You had to watch the van. The van was in a junkyard. You guys had to kind of like work it off to stay on the road, and you were like in that van by yourself, and you just had a fucking enough. You were just tired of taking the fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, for a while I was thinking about stuff, and things that I wanted to say and things that were being said, but I wanted to say them in a different way. I just wanted to stand up for myself more. Right or wrong, I was willing to fucking sacrifice that. I mean, we dealt with a lot. It was like those days were hard. I remember like the first couple of days we were in tour in Detroit, our van gets broken into. My drums are stolen, Richie's guitar is stolen, my duffel bag stolen, all our clothes are gone.
Fucking Detroit.
We just still motor on. We hit a Salvation Army and get some fucking pants, and we could just keep fucking going. Like my father, every once in a while, when I would come home, I'd be fucking, busted up or something. My father would be like, "What the fuck happened?" I'm like, I played a show last night.
Yeah.
And he's like, are you making money? I'm like, no, I didn't make any money. You didn't make any money, and you got fucking busted up fucking lip and shit. I'm like, yeah, it's fucking good times, man.
I know it's crazy. My dad's a big lover of New York hardcore now. He gets it. He loves the show. He loves the worldwide community. But for many years, he didn't really, what are you wasting your time? The people that just equate, success with money. It's like, if you're not making money, what are you wasting your time for?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like those group of guys, the support that I got from them,
it
was like, I've never had that ever before in my life. They were honestly friends and family. And to this day, like, even like when Judge got back together, like, when I walked away from Judge, I walked away for like 30 fucking years.
Yeah.
I was like fucking gone. I didn't talk to anybody. And then when we get back together, I walk into a rehearsal room, and there they all are, and we just start talking like we were hanging out yesterday.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird. It should be weird, but it's not weird with us because we're so fucking tight. And it's just the way it's always been. Even like before this whole like virus happened and shit, like the wheels had fallen off my fucking life before this all fucking hit. You know, I lost my fucking apartment, fucking family, fucking just it was just a fucking mess, to the point where me and my wife were like holed up in a fucking work trailer in the middle of fucking winter, just trying to fucking survive, wondering what the fuck.
Yeah.
You know? And then like Judge plays this one last show in South Jersey. And, you know, like an old friend, Steve Reddy, is like, comes down to like help with merch and shit. And as the show's over and as I'm leaving, he's like, so when you coming up to Albany, wanting to help and shit. And I was like, it's fucking crazy, you know? And I fucking go back to this fucking shed and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at my wife. I was like, I don't know how to get us out of this. This is a fucking mess. The virus comes, everything's fucked up. And then, you know, a few months into it, fucking, you know, Steve calls again. He's like, dude, come up to Albany, you know, we'll sort you out, fucking get you a job, insurance and shit, get fixed up. And then
welcome back to the family.
Fucking A, you know, like I'm not there. I can't honestly say any fucking blood family has ever stepped out like that. Never.
Our friend Bad Luck Brett says that's how hardcore is. You never say goodbye. Instead, we say see you down the road. You know, it's true, man. Like with this hardcore thing, I stopped saying never again. I stopped saying never again a long time ago. For me, it's always you never know. You know, you never know. If Judge can get back together after 20 years, if the Misfits can get back together, you know, you just never know, man. You really never know of these things. So let me shout out a couple sponsors and take care of a little bit of business, and we'll come back and let's talk about how Judge got together and where it brought you. All right.
Work.
All right, there you have it. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, and we are sponsored. And our guest today is Mike Judge, a show rich in New York hardcore folklore and history. We are sponsored by Chain Reaction Records, the Texas Silver Rush, Your Core Hardcore fan page, and The Organic Grill. The Organic Grill is a vegan restaurant located in East Village of New York City at 123 First Avenue, featured in New York Magazine, the New York Times, and Veg News. Their dishes have won numerous awards, including Best Veggie Burger. They make their own cheeses, sausages, and burger patties in every dish. Every dish. Are you dishing? Every dish on the menu can be made gluten-free for all you gluten-free motherfuckers. This year, they're celebrating their 20th anniversary, and they're all about having a great time while enjoying amazing, clean food. After 3 months of being closed, they're now open for deliveries. Get in touch with them and order some great food at www.theorganicgrill.com. We love you, Vlad. We love The Organic Grill. Also, while we're at it, Your Core Hardcore fan page. In the wake of the pandemic, Your Core Chris created Your Core fan page, utilizing lessons learned from over 20 years of being an educator and social worker. He decided to try to reach where hardcore punk and the surrounding genre of bands create, not only their music, but their message. The interviews are from a psychological perspective to harvest motivation, personal insight, and perspective. Perspective. Key word, perspective. Please reach out to them on Facebook or Instagram if you have content to share. If you want to promote your band, Your Core Hardcore fan page. Also, want to mention a couple of shows coming up. Not sure. I don't know if this is. I don't think we've announced this one on the show yet. But Sunday, December 27th, by popular demand, here we go. John Joseph is coming on the show. Musician, author, Ironman triathlete. You know this is going to be an interesting show. John Joseph always has a lot to say. Also, coming up after that is on Wednesday, December 30th, and continuing the tradition of having great guests on the show, Mr. Randy Blythe from Lamb of God. Looking forward to having Randy on. Also a great photographer. Did some singing for the Bad Brains a while back. So that's Wednesday, December 30th. our friend Randy Blythe. And then just announced this yesterday for all your old school thumpers out there, especially Bob Riley, Al Burrell, Roger Moret. Very excited. Crucified for Your Sins, Sunday, January 3rd. We got Saab Gray coming on from Iron Cross and the Royal Americans. This should be great. By the way, that photo on the flyer I dug out, that is a Bridget Collins photo of Saab Gray and Chris Foley from SSD Control standing outside in front of the Chancery in D.C. before the Iron Cross SSD Control government issue show at the Chancery. So pretty cool photo, actually. Saab Gray coming up. So lots of great shows coming down the pipe. Get off the pipe. That said, yep, that's right. There you go. Sab is coming on the show. Can we have JJ cooking while he does the show? Listen, honestly, so I want to tell you something about the John Joseph show coming up. I don't really know how much time we're going to get into on the Cro-Mags drama. Because, personally, at this point, I don't really give a shit. So, I don't really sit here and go, come on, let's move on already, There's a lot to talk about with him. Sure, we're gonna touch on the Cro-Mag stuff, but come on, people. Man, we've all heard it 1,000 times already. So let's keep it moving and let's keep it interesting. Also, I see there's a lot of new faces out there. Real quick, there is a Patreon page. Please support this show on Patreon. That's what keeps the show going. It is our community within the community. Also, there is a PayPal page. That's it there. Don't be shy. Get on Patreon. There is a link right there. Please subscribe to this YouTube page, to my Stone Films NYC YouTube page. Please subscribe to it. And also underneath, there is a link. Right here. There's a link to, there's a New York Hardcore Chronicles Live merch. So go check out the merch. That said, everybody okay? You bought a New York Hardcore pillow. Thank you. You got something to prop your girl's ass up on. God bless you. Still rocking AOL. Yes, I am still rocking AOL. There you go. Yes, I hear you. No drama. I know, man. That's why people like to come on and do this show. Because, like poor Moby, right? We're not going to get it. Hey, Moby, tell us about the time you got your ass kicked. Give the poor bastard a break, We don't need, there's so much other stuff to talk about other than the same old yarn, as we say. Yes, Iron Cross crucial, strictly crucial, as we used to say. Keeler, it's Keeler. You know what? I gotta reach out to Igor from Sepultura. Speaking of Keeler, we got to get that going. What did I just see? You should have the whole Cro-Mags on the show. Sure. Right. Yeah. Good idea. Yeah, we're going to talk about the new Blood Clot record. We'll talk about all that. So there you go. Am I covering them? I covered. You know what? A couple of shout outs here. A new page on, it is shout out Sunday. Shouting out the Women of the Pit page that just got formed on Facebook. Go check that out. Some of our friends and supporters of this show, that's Women of the Pit. Check it out on Facebook. Lori Dawn and Daisha. Cool page. Even though you dudes aren't allowed on there. It's all Goyles. It's a Goyles page, but it's cool. There's cool stuff going on there. What else? Shout out to the New York Chronicles live comments crew on Facebook. It's everybody, since I only do shows twice a week, it's kind of where this community meets up. Yeah, girls only, says May. There's girls only. So there you go. Yes, that's the page that Upstate Rick created. It's called the New York Hardcore Chronicles live comments crew. Boom, there it is. Go join it on Facebook. And if you're a female of the species, join the Women of the Pit page. I think I covered everything here. Just a reminder, if you have a communication device on this planet, my Instagram to follow the show is Stone4124. Excuse me, is at Stone Films NYC. Sorry, I made the mistake of picking up my phone and it's blowing up. Get it away. Lurking Crew 631. Listen, join Patreon, you bum. Help me help you. Support the show, please. That said, let's clear the deck. What the heck? Let's get our guest back on. Boom, boom, bim, scala, bim. Is everybody behaving themselves? It seems that way. Wish I had found this channel sooner. You're doing an important job keeping this history alive. Thank you, Dino. Support the show. Come out of the dark. Yeah, man. Of course, thanks for the love, Rick. We love you. That said, let's bring our guest back on. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Mr. Mike Judge. Hey, man.
Yo, that was fun, dude. Fucking makes me feel like it's all official and shit. It's cool.
Listen, man, you know.
You really do a killer job, Drew. I'm fucking impressed.
Thank you, man. That means a lot coming from you. You know what it is? I've sort of got my stride now, and I enjoy doing it, and I know what works and what doesn't work, and it means a lot to have friends like you on, man. That I know that we just really connect, man, and that's what this is what it's really all about, you know. That said, let's talk about Judge and how did it form, and who was in it initially, and what did you set out to do?
I set out to get back at every motherfucker who fucking talks shit about Youth of Today. That was it, man.
There you go. Love it, bro.
That was it. There was like it wasn't supposed to be a band. It was just supposed to be a little record to say, fuck you to a bunch of people. Just me and Purcell did it. You know, he played guitar and bass. I played drums and sang. We threw it together at Fury's. And it just fucking came out good.
And this is the New York Crew 7-inch, correct?
Yeah.
And this came out on Purcell's label Schism.
Yep.
And I have a photo here, and I think I got this from you initially. I think you're the one that sent me this when I was doing the film. You sent me a bunch of photos that were on a contact sheet.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
And I like cut and pasted each one and cleaned them up. And this photo here, if I'm correct, is you guys doing the background vocals for that record, right?
Yes, it is.
And who's in this picture?
That's Sammy on the right. Standing next to him is Lukey Luke. That's me, and then Purcell.
Bro, seriously, Luke and Sammy look like they're fucking 11 years old, man.
Dude, they were. When we went out on tour, we had to go talk to their parents, ask permission. I remember going to Sammy's parents being like, hey man, I'm fucking straight edge. I fucking don't drink, smoke, respect women. I'll protect your son. I promise. And you
were like the big dude of the crew. So like you had a little, yeah. I mean, you know, oh, and there upstate Rick says, there's that striped drum set again. That's like that infamous Don Fury drum set.
Yeah. When I was back in Death Before Dishonor, we'd go to Fury's. That's where we rehearsed all the time because you could fucking pay Don like an extra $2 and you can make a fucking 2-track recording of your fucking set. Right. We used to time it out, make it like when we go home, like, hey, we got a fucking demo. Let's check it out. Yeah.
Oh, that's great, man. That's fucking great.
Don Fury is the fucking best.
He's the best. He's up by you now. You're up by him. Yeah. Now, did you guys come together and record the record first, then go out and play? What was the succession?
Yeah, we came. I had the idea, and then when we got home, we have this one last. We have a Youth of Today rehearsal, right? And it's for the new record, and I just wasn't into it. You know, it was like the songs. I wasn't into the songs and shit. Just and I quit that night. And I was like, this isn't for me. And I left the rehearsal, told those guys I didn't want to play anymore, and I split. That was at Furies also. And you know, and I had already told Purcell, like, I wrote music. I was living in Brooklyn at the time with Purcell and Al Brown. And you know, those guys would go to work and I would just listen to like the Last Rites demo and Black Sabbath and SSD. And I was just like putting music together and coming up with whatever I could come up with. And I wrote that first Judge record. And I told Purcell, I showed him everything. He was down with it. And we just put it together. And, you know, it was all going to be on Schism, you know. And it wasn't going to be like a band. It was just going to come out and be like, holy shit, like this, you know. But it was really good. And then I think it was Purcell who got the bug to be like, you know, we should make this a band. And I think at first we got Drew Beat to play drums. Our first show was just like a thrown together thing that we were tacking on somebody else's set, and we were going to play like 4 songs. And it was me, Purcell, the Death Before Dishonor bass player Jimmy Yu, he was in it, and Drew Beat was the drummer.
This show, this is the oldest Judge flyer I have in the New York Hardcore Chronicles archive. It's from November 12th, 1988, and it is from, where is this? Hold on. Let's see. Whoa.
Fucking hit that.
Here we go. It is, hold on, let me clear this shit. Sorry. Okay, so this is, where the fuck is, the Lismar Lounge.
Oh man, the Lismar Lounge. Geez.
What's up?
Damn.
This has got to be one of the first shows you did, huh?
I wish I could tell you, brother. I have fucking no recollection.
Right. You remember the Lismar, though?
Oh yeah, I remember the Lismar.
That place was grimy, yo.
Yeah.
Now, Michelle says, and I have this in my notes. I have this in my notes. She says, or Lenny says it. Excuse me. Wasn't the first time Purcell hear you sing was actually at the recording session? And in my notes, I have a quote from Purcell. He says Mike was super passionate about the band. He wanted to sing, and I couldn't believe it. I was blown away. So the first time he heard you sing was when you were recording?
Yeah, because well, like I said, we would rehearse the songs at Giant on 14th Street.
Yeah.
And the equipment was really fucking bad. So he would play guitar and I'd play drums to learn it, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then he would play guitar, and then I would just like, I'd have the microphone, but I wouldn't really push it because it's just me and a guitar player. It felt funny. I was like, felt awkward, so I didn't really push it. But I knew I could do it because, you know, I left Brooklyn and I went back to Jersey, and so I was writing lyrics, and I had music on a tape, and I'd write lyrics, and then when I think I had something good, I'd go out in my fucking car and go driving, and I would just scream at the radio, rah, 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 to these fucking songs, you know? I've been down that fucking road, and I won't go again, you know? All that shit. So I knew I could do it. I just needed the chance. So when we finally got in the Furies and everything, all the music was recorded, and it was my time, I was like, now I get to fucking let this motherfucker out.
That's awesome, man. That's great. And things kind of happen fast with Judge, right? I mean, you did that record, you put it out, you played a couple of shows. Here's another one. I like this one, man. Here's another flyer, and this is from CB's, and let me get rid of that. This is from CB's, November 13th. So I mean, this is early on. Obviously, you know, you guys probably made this flyer, you know, right after that came out. But I mean, playing CB's was always an exciting event, right?
Oh yeah, CB's was big time to me.
Yeah,
I mean, I love that place. I had most of my learning experiences were either in CB's or outside of CB's. whether it be an ass kicking or something else.
I mean, these are Jeff Ladd photos. These are great photos that Jeff Ladd took, and it looks like I see Sammy playing drums, and that's
Jimmy playing bass.
That's right. Hold on, I got another one. I got another one from that I had in the archive from when. Yeah, these are great, man. These are great fucking shots. Here's another one from that same show. Boom. Yeah, there you go. Yep. Jimmy U is like a monk now, right?
Yeah, he became like a he lived in the temple off of Canal Street,
right?
And then he became like an interpreter for like this, this Taiwanese monk who was like a pretty big deal. He became his interpreter, and then now he's like teaching at FSU now I forget what he's teaching, but he's working down at FSU as a teacher.
Wow. I got to reach out to him, man. He'd be great on the show.
He's a great dude.
Have you spoken to him through the like any?
Yeah, we've had conversations. When the whole judge thing started again, I felt like I wanted him to know about it and wanted him to know like if there was a chance that he wanted to come out and play a song. I mean, he did write the music to the song "Fed Up."
Oh, okay.
So, and I wanted to know that he was not forgotten, that he was a big part of me starting that band.
Yeah.
And
you're an honorable guy, man. And listen, in our culture, like that's the right thing to do, man. Like reach out and, he always seemed to me like a kind soul,
Yeah. Honor and loyalty is all I have to give, brother.
Right on. Hey, you know what we need to do? Let's take a minute, you and me. Let's bring on Sid the Kid, right? And let's do album of the week. What's up, Sid?
What up, guys? What's going on?
Oh, why you so loud?
Good.
Why are you so loud? What is your volume turned up?
Am I really loud or?
I know you're excited, bro. So,
come on,
here we go. All right, here we go. Sid the Kid. Let me get you. It is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is Sid the Kid. Record of the week. All right, here we go. And boom. Oh, good one.
Oh, yeah.
Good one. All right, Sid, tell us about this.
Well, guys, as you see right here, this is the first Cockney Rejects 7-inch that came out back in 1979. It's a Flares and Slippers EP. Obviously, it's only, it's an EP with 3 songs. Flares and Slippers, Police Car, and I Want to Be a Star. I mainly picked this record mainly because I know this obviously resonates with Mike and a lot of people, specifically within hardcore, because some people think, it's just, punk rock, but Oi surprisingly did have quite an influence in early hardcore. I mean, AF is one of them. They were influenced by the Rejects being one of those bands. And they're just a band that, with a lot of hardcore bands from anywhere from 85 to now, this band influences them big time. And even though at that time they were only around for a couple of years, I believe somebody heard their demo and they weren't even playing shows yet at this rate. But the guy who heard the demo was like, "Oh, we gotta press this on the 7-inch. We gotta put this out." And once the 7-inch came out, it just rolled on with this band. And they've been doing it now since 1979, and they're still playing today. And they're one of those bands, and they're an amazing, great band live too.
Absolutely, Mike. Does this resonate for you at all?
Oh yeah, big time. When like way back in the beginning, I remember it was probably right around when I first started going into the city, not even for shows, but just going to like music and like going to Trash and Vaudeville, shit like that. Mm-hmm. And I remember going into, remember that record store that was down St. Mark's, and then I think it was called Free Being. It was like down.
It was right around the corner on 2nd Avenue.
Yeah, exactly. There was this
2 stores down from Gem Spa.
Exactly. There was this girl who worked there. I think her name was Annette, right? She had like black hair with like white and stuff.
She got married. She married Nobby Bones, man. It was Annette. She used to book the shows.
Yeah.
She used to book the shows at the Rock Hotel, bro.
Yeah, so I go in there and there's this song playing. I'm like, it's fucking so fucking cool. And I was like, who is this? And she's like, it's Cockney Rejects, Bad Man, you know? And I was like, where can I get this record? And she's like, they're imports, but I can order it for you. Mm-hmm. And so like a couple weeks later, I go in there and she got me like Cockney Rejects Power and Glory record. Mm-hmm. That was it. I fucking love the records. Like that became like my first tattoo. I got that record cover tattooed on me and shit. Yeah, I love the Rejects, no doubt.
Right on.
Took the fucking Judge hammers from them.
Is that right?
Yeah, right? Look at the record cover. Look at the record cover to the Power and the Glory. I took those hammers.
What?
Hold on. Let me.
Those, Mike?
Right there.
These. Wait, hold on. Those right there. Yoink.
Exactly.
But even that symbol too, you know, being with you guys in the Rejects, so many people get that tattoo. It's such an iconic symbol, something that's so basic, but yet it resonates with so many people.
I'm finding it now. Here we go. I got it. Hold on. There's nothing we can't. I can do anything. I'm the Lizard King. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. I'm a golden god. I can do anything. Here we go. Here we go. Cockney Rejects, the Power and the Glory. Boom.
Yeah.
Right.
So we took the torch out and the big banner, and then we put New York Crew in there.
Wow, I never knew that, bro.
Yeah, that's the hammers and our banners for the New York Crew record.
That is fucking great, man.
You learn something new every day, guys.
I think Al Brown did that. Al Brown came up with that.
That is great. Very cool.
And then like so many years later, Judge gets back together and we go to Europe and we wound up playing with the Cockney Rejects. And so I'm like, holy shit, it's the fucking Rejects. Like I'm all like fucking like, I'm like a little kid. I'm like, God damn, I can't believe I'm fucking playing with the Rejects. And then I see them, like the two brothers are standing there and I'm like, oh, I gotta talk to these guys. I cannot leave without talking to these. You know, Sid, because you did it to me in fucking Brooklyn with Kevin Seconds. I was like, oh, there's Kevin Seconds. I'm fucking afraid to talk to him. And then Sid's like, hey, Kevin, come over here. Mike wants to talk to you. But yeah, so I see him. I go over. I go, hey, man, I'm in a band called Judge from New York. And, 30 years ago, we put out a record with your hammers. And this is a picture of it. And I just want to say thank you and whatever. And he's like, that's fucking brilliant. And we had a good time, dude. It was great.
Yeah, the Gagas brothers, they're the nice, honestly, I've interacted with them over the years. They're the nicest guys on the planet. I know there is a documentary online somewhere about the band themselves. I don't remember it offhand, but if anybody out there, quick Google search, you could find that documentary. I believe Jake from Rocksoft actually a few years ago premiered it during a thing he was doing. And I watched it like at this theater on 2nd Street at the time. Mm-hmm. Amazing documentary. Like it covers the band from the beginning up to, I believe it was 2014 at the time. But it's an amazing documentary overall.
I've never seen them play live.
My God!
I have yet to see them play live.
They did a show. They did a show in 2013. I'm looking at the poster myself right now. It was the Templars, Murphy's Law, Youth Brigade, and Cockney Rejects, and that was an amazing show.
Right.
It was an amazing show.
Frederico says Drew's going to cut Sid off soon. You know what? I like how Sid is bringing it today. No need to cut. That said, Sid, thank you very much. We all appreciate and love when you do Album of the Week and you do your homework, man. So thank you very much. Do you have do you need to shout anybody out?
No, everybody just, be safe out there and just do what you got to do. As long as you do it in a positive manner and just keep your head above water, adapt and overcome. That's all we can really do right now.
Adapt and overcome.
And yes, the shirt is clean, by the way.
What kind of shirt you wearing? Come on, let's see.
Oh, come on, The Fight, man, from Long Island, guys. I've been telling you about this band. You got to check them the fuck out.
Okay.
You can't sleep on this. Another band you can't sleep on.
All right, let's not get carried away. I'll see you at the end of the show, Sid. Thank you.
Cheers.
There you go. Good dude, right?
Fucking A, dude. Gotta love them.
There's room for everyone on the boat here. You know,
Right.
come, bring me your your cyborgs, your mutants. They're all welcome here on this show. So let's talk about this a little bit. And I know there was a misfire before this, right? You guys went into Chung King, and
Yeah.
you guys recorded at Chung King, and apparently didn't like the mix. And you know what? I listened to it today, and I hear you, bro. You know, like you know, and it's funny how some people cherish that and think it's the greatest thing ever. It's so odd. And that was Chung King. And then I guess Jordan at Revelation let a couple slip out. I think there was like 110 of them made, and one of them sold on Discogs fairly recently for like $6,000. And you had the great line, "I'm bewildered. I don't know why that record is worth anything to anybody when it's not worth anything to the people who created it."
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just I know at the time, like I think Leeway did, recorded there and shit. Like there were bands that came out of there, and no, I think Leeway recorded where we wound up going.
You ended up going to record Bringing It Down.
At Normandy,
which is where the Cro-Mags did Best Wishes. Chung King is where Purcell and them worked in before that. I think they did some Youth of Today stuff or something there.
I don't know how it happened. It was just a fucking nightmare, dude. It was like everything was done in one night, like song after song. My voice was hoarse. It was like in the middle of the night, and we had like the worst fucking engineer. He was like combing through the carpet for crack rocks and shit, and while we were trying to get shit done. It was just a miserable experience.
Mm-hmm.
Whole thing, and it was just a big pile of shit. And I remember like going to Brooklyn. Purcell had left with Youth of Today for Europe on tour, and the record, Al Brown had a copy of the record finally. So I went to Brooklyn to hear it, and I heard it, and I was just heartbroken because it took so long. And then
I know that feeling, man. It's like it's crushing. It's crushing.
But then the shit that was coming out of Normandy was so awesome. So Jordan was cool enough to let us tackle that down there, and it was great.
So you went back and you recorded this.
Yeah. That's the beast.
That's the beast, man. I mean, that's really the big banger, man. And that really, that really set you guys, that really set Judge into motion, in a lot of ways. Great cover, man. I think things just really came together for you guys. And you were a voice for that generation in a certain regard, not to sound corny, you know what I mean? But people really resonated with a lot of people, and those lyrics, really resonate with a lot of people. But I also know from talking to you, before, is that, it also attracted a lot of violence eventually, right?
I just think Judge had Judge just had that thing about them where I've said this before, like I'm like there's like straight edge guys who are like, I've never touched anything, I'll never touch anything, and I'm going to be straight edge for my whole life, and that is fucking great, but that's not where I come from. I grew up in a battleground, and my whole fucking life has felt like a fucking war. And, my family's been devastated by it. And that's where I come from. I was fucking angry about it. And so that's how the first record came out. And then I seen what the attitude of the first record caused in front of crowds. And I tried to be smarter about what I was saying on the Bring It Down record. But at that point, I think people who are really trying to hold on to something are they came to Judge, you know, because they knew. I mean, I'll be the first to tell you, I'm a fucking wreck. My fucking head's never worked right, you know. Things that things that are fucking obvious to somebody else are not obvious to me, you know. And I'm a hard learner, and I'm a short temper, and it's caused me a lot of fucking problems. And I just don't have that squeaky clean fucking deal going for me where, you know, I don't have any happy memories. My memories are fucking, my memories are nightmares, you know, and I put them into music. And I think there's a lot of people like me. And when they gravitate towards it, and it gets volatile, and I understand it.
Yep.
I don't like it, but I understand it.
Absolutely.
But it's been great. Judge shows were great like that, where it wasn't just fucking hooded sweatshirts and Nikes and Letterman jackets.
Yep.
It was fucking all kinds of people were there, and they were all singing along, and they were all getting into it. And a lot of times when so many different types of people are in one spot, things set off. And
well put. Well put. Blast Beat Industries says, Bringing It Down came out in an era of hair metal, New Jack Swing, and garbage from England. Of course, that record set it off. So there you go. You know, I mean, makes sense to me. So Judge gets rolling, and you're out there, and you do it. And you guys, let me see, you guys did a lot of work. You guys did a lot of work, man. I mean, you guys played a lot of shows, man. I mean, for a while there, right? I mean, you guys were really working. One place that you guys played is this place, the Anthrax. Any memories of the Anthrax or playing up there?
Oh yeah, Anthrax was like our hometown club, kind of. You know, we played there. All my Youth of Today and Judge, we played there all the time.
Yeah. Yep.
Like one of the first road trips I ever took was to go see The Abused playing at the original Anthrax. You know?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know they made it up there.
Yeah. And that was at the original Anthrax, which is like a really tiny place, like an art thing or something. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, the first place. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Awesome place. But I mean, these were the kind of bills up there, right? Chain of Strength, Alone in a Crowd.
Yeah.
These are the kind of bills that you do up there, you know?
I've seen everybody at that club.
I like this Jersey Straight Edge, Hogan's Heroes. That's fucking great. Chucky Brown says, Bringing It Down album is the straight edge age of Quarrel. Well put, Chucky. That's very
really nice.
Yeah, that is. That's very, very, very well put. So the timeline. So, Judge is going on for a while. Things start getting a little bit crazy, right? You know, there's some incidents at some shows, and how did it wind down? I mean, how did, you know, at what point did you realize, hey, the thrill is gone, and it's time for me to move on? What was that timeline like?
That was like that. We did like a summer tour, and we worked our way out to California, and everything. You know, it was good times. There was crazy shit, but it was nothing crazier than anything else. On the way back, it's kind of weird. On the way back, we stopped in like the fucking Rocky Mountains, right? To like check out the scenery, right? And there's this Native American lady, and she's selling like stuff, and we start talking to her. And so as we're leaving, she comes up to me and she goes, you guys are so nice. I want to give you this. And it was like this plastic bag. It had like some green shit in it. Like, I can't remember what it was, some type of seeds. And she's like, this will bless your trip. You take this and you put it on the tailpipe. It'll cause smoke and your trip will be blessed. I'm like, oh, thanks. So I take it and I put it in a bag. And then we split and we go and we're playing, shows are getting canceled, just shit's going wrong, and things are getting kind of crazy. And then we're all fucking tired. We've been away from home for a long time, and we're, you know how it is when you're cramped up in a place and everybody's getting on each other's nerves. And it's just like, we're at that point of a tour where we just need some space. And I'm pretty sure it's Tennessee where we get pulled.
By the way, not to interrupt, but Purcell's chiming in. Sage, she smudged us.
Yeah. So we're in Tennessee, right? And we get pulled over. It's like dusk, right? It's not dark yet, but it's getting dark. And these cops pull us over, and these guys are like total fucking over the top racist cocksuckers.
Oh man, where was this? Tennessee.
I believe it was Tennessee.
Woo-wee.
So they pull us out. They pull all our equipment out to search the van, and these guys are like, the one guy walks up to me, and he's saying the N-word. He goes, "Are you an N-word lover?" Ooh. And he's like, I know. He called me a New York queer because we had New York plates on our van. And he's like, "Are you an N-word lover?" And then he's talking to his friend. He's like, "Hey, whatever. Have you ever had an N-word?" And I'm like standing, and he's right in my face, and he's spitting like chewing tobacco on me and shit as he's talking. And he was just trying to get me to react, so I guess he could fucking have a reason to do whatever he really wanted to do. And it's me and Purcell, and then Sammy and Matt are like these young kids, and
they look it.
I felt like fucking. Part of me wanted to snap, but I knew I couldn't snap. I knew these guys really wanted to fuck us up. And so they wound up fucking taking our money and shit, like saying like, you could spend the weekend in fucking jail here, or you can pay the fine now. Whatever the fine was what we had.
Wow.
So anyway, we finally get on the fucking road, and the thing is, they're searching the van. And they get my bag, and they're searching the fucking bag, and they find that bag of fucking seeds or whatever, that sage, whatever it was. And he freaks out because he thinks he found like fucking drugs and shit. And he really wants to fucking hammer me, but it turned out that it was fucking sage. So they take our money and whatnot, and we get on the road. And we're like my spirit's broken. I don't know about the rest of the guys, but I was just like, if the fucking cops are like this, we can't win this fight,
Right.
We get to fucking Florida, and there's like 100 fucking Nazi skinheads lining the fucking road, and they wanted to fucking kill us. And it was bad because I've been in that situation before, and it was never a thing to me. The fucking airport music hall. I've been there. I fucking slugged it out 1,000,000 times.
Airport music hall.
But this time there were so many of them. And one guy was like a Mexican, and they said he had a fucking gun. Like it was really like, I just really felt like I was going to catch it, to the point where I wasn't even getting along with my father, but I called my father up and said, "Hey man, if something happens, just will you please take care of my dog?" And he's like, "What's going on?" I go, "Don't worry about it, but just please promise me you'll take care of my dog," because I thought I was going to get it. And when shit kicked off that night, we wound up not really fighting, but we had to like protect this guy, this black dude who walked into the fucking club for whatever reason. They just swarmed him. So our roadie jumped in to get him, and we're like dragging people out, and it was just like fucking weird.
Like an old black dude, right?
Yeah, I don't know if he wanted to use a bathroom, just wrong place, wrong time. But he walked right in, and they attacked him like fucking. Yeah. It was bad. And so we finally get out of there, and I'm getting like phone calls and shit. Like there's just the rumors start going around from the people in that Tampa scene that, you know, Judge is, you know, full of shit. They're pussies. They didn't even fucking fight. They're just like, and I'm just like, what was I supposed to do? You know, like you think when a fucking band pulls into your town, we're like a fucking army? You're catching us at the tail end of a fucking tour where we don't fucking make money. We're fucking, you know, we're fucking tired, and we're fucking, and what, like, I don't know what they expected. And I just felt like they all turned on me. Like, how could anybody in that situation do anything more? You know, it was only, I was blown away. And I just was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Between the fucking cops and the fucking people who didn't think I didn't do enough. Like, what was I supposed to do? Was I supposed to give blood that night? Would that have made me happy?
Sacrifice myself to the Third Reich.
So that was it. I was like, I'm over. I'm over this all.
Did you get home and just sort of say I'm done, or did things just sort of like disperse and not come back together?
When we were on the way home, it was like we were supposed to stay somewhere, but after everything, we just wanted to go home. So we drove straight back to New York, and everybody was sleeping. Purcell was driving, and I was shotgun. And dude, we were like listening to Neil Young and shit. It was like, it was just one of those moments where I was like listening to the music and thinking about everything and thinking about all the years and how much I felt I gave and what was being said. And I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I just don't want to do this anymore. And once they dropped me off, I was done. I didn't talk to anybody for like 30 years. I was done, dude.
Hey, listen, it makes sense to me, man. The whole thing makes a lot of sense to me. And, you know, I'm a big John Purcell fan. You know, I really, that guy, man, I have a lot of respect for him. I really do. And he must have been a great ally and wingman to have, you know, back then in that era. He's got a lot of love in his heart, and he loves this thing that we call, you know, hardcore. You know, he really does. So
exactly,
all that makes a lot of sense. So Judge breaks up, and you guys you know, that was it, and everybody kind of goes their way. Those guys go and do their thing, right? Purcell goes and they do Shelter, and then everybody kind of goes and does their thing, and you eventually you do, you know, you kind of do a couple things. And, you know, I want to ask you, you know, this morning I listened to your recording Old Smoke, and man, I fucking love it, bro. I mean, I just got to say, I really, really, really enjoyed it this morning. I listened to the whole thing. Before, I've never really given it a good hard listen, but, you know, as a lover of blues and acoustic bass music and Americana, you know, the new film that I'm doing really is about Americana. I loved it, man. I really thought it was great, man. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, once I got home, I was like depressed, bummed and shit. So I got an acoustic guitar just to have something to do. I wound up missing like the whole like camaraderie of being in a band, you know, being out on the road with my friends and shit. Wound up, you know, fucking with a motorcycle club at the time, getting involved in that just for the brotherhood.
Did you ride? Did you ride?
Yeah.
Have a bike? You rode?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so there was this club in the Bronx that I wound up being a part of.
Right.
And then I was still playing acoustic guitar and stuff. And Todd, who was Judge's roadie, who was like my best friend, he had a job down by the old Rock Hotel in the, you know, down wherever that
Jane Street on the west side.
That area where the meat packing district, you know.
Sure, Jane Street and West Side Highway.
So he worked for this abatement company, and behind the abatement company, I don't know if you ever heard of him. You ever hear of Richie Havens?
Come on, bro, stop it.
Woodstock. Richie Havens, first guy to play Woodstock.
Freedom. Of course.
Exactly. So Richie Havens owned a recording studio in the back of this abatement shop.
Wow.
And everybody who worked there, like one of the guys who worked there was like this drummer. So everybody was a musician. And Richie Havens' sound man lived there, had an apartment there. So he was like a young kid who learned how to do sound at like Woodstock. His name was Dennis. Fucking brilliant dude. Old hippie, super fucking brilliant. So Todd invited me down there. He's like, you got to come out and at least check out these fucking studio. You got to see these instruments. Because Richie was like collecting drums from all over the fucking world. And he had like, the Allman Brothers. He had their like, I forget what it's called, the organ with the spinning horn, like, what is that, Wurlitzer or something like that? Leslie
organ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he had all this stuff there. And he had all these amps from Electric Ladyland that Hendrix played through. And so I went there. I was like, holy shit, look at this stuff. Like, it's incredible. And we just started playing, just jamming with Dennis. And every once in a while, he would just hit record. And we were recording shit. And all that music, we actually recorded at Dennis's place. We actually recorded at Don Fury's place, a version of it. We actually recorded at this place in New Jersey called Jersey Town. I just wanted to play music. I never had a thought of putting it out or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I think Todd had an idea because Todd was the one who was like contacting Jordan and shit. And at that point in my life, I was like, just do whatever, man. I don't care. Just leave me out of it. I don't want to know anything. Here's the tapes, here's the reels, whatever you want to do, you do.
And Jordan put it out.
I
listened to it and I did a little research and it kept taking me to Richie Havens. And I was like, what the fuck? And I guess the guys that played on it were connected to Richie Havens. It kept coming up and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Were you you know what it reminds me of? Really, it reminded me of a Cure record. The Cure has a record called Blood Flowers. It reminded me very much of a Cure record called Blood Flowers. I recommend it to anybody out there. I'm not the biggest Cure fan, but there's a Cure record called Blood Flowers that's very acoustic based, very, very sort of very dreamy, and also, of course, Neil Young. I mean, I felt there was a little bit of a Neil Young influence. Was that correct?
Oh yeah, I love Neil Young. I've loved Neil shit forever. Those old records, man. Those words were like, little stories to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I want to say this to everybody that's watching. This is going to be a long show. We're not going anywhere. We're not pulling the plug. Feels good. We're taking the horse where it rides. So we're going to be doing this for a little while. So if you got to go, go. If you don't got to go, hang out with us, right? Great Cure. All right, somebody, Great Cure. Okay, Great Cure album. I love that record, Blood. I highly recommend it. I love that record. Yes, Blood Flowers is dreamy. Yep, absolutely. So let's talk about, I know kind of how it went down because I remember, because I was up there with you. There was a Black and Blue Bowl that Gorilla Biscuits played. We played it as well that year. Antidote played it. You and I spoke briefly. We were on the balcony, up on the balcony, and Gorilla Biscuits played New York Crew, and Anthony, how do you say? Dedicated it to you. Up there on the balcony, our friend Mike Judge, and this and that, and that was a great set they played. It was a great night, and Civ was awesome. Did that? I mean, I know that resonated with you. Could you tell us a little bit about it and how that set things into motion for Judge to sort of make a comeback?
Yeah. So even like, I had a friend of mine who like was into like New York hardcore. He was going to shows and shit. Even though I wasn't part of anything, he was going to shows, and then he would come over on the weekends and he would tell me about like shows, who's doing what. So I was getting all info about stuff and shit. So I knew what was going on through him. And then, so one day he calls and he's like, dude, I need a favor. He's like, Sick of It All is like playing someplace in New York and it's sold out and I really need to go to the show. Can you get me in? So I was like, how am I going to get you in? I don't know I haven't talked to anybody in fucking, I don't even know how many years. How would I get you in?
What juice do I have 20 years later?
He's like, please, dude, just try. I need to get into the show. And he's done so much for me. So I was like, I'll see what I can do. And so I was like going through my phone, like wondering how am I going to fucking pull this off. And as I'm going through my phone, I see that I still have Sib's phone number. So I still have a phone number for Sib. So I call it and he's like, hello. I'm like, is this Anthony Civarelli? And he's like, yeah, who's this? I go, this is Mike from Judge. And he's like, Mike Judge? I'm like, yeah, how you been? Mike. And he's like, I've been good. How have you been? It's only been like 20 something years. I'm like, yeah, it's been a minute, brother. Is there any way you can get a friend of mine into Sick of It All? And he's like, yeah, I could probably get him into Sick of It All if you promise to come see us at Webster Hall at the B&B. Yeah. And I was like, all right, deal. So I got my friend into the Sick of It All show, or Siv did. And then me and my wife went to see Gorilla Biscuits. And in that time, the Black and Blue guys were like, Tavi, who's like, he's a Jersey guy, and he is. For years he's been my brother. I mean,
is that right?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know there was a connection with you and Tav.
Oh yeah, we've been down for quite a while. Okay. So as a matter of fact, years before that, I don't know how much long before that, Tavi had called me out of the blue, and he's like, you ever think about singing any Judge songs again? And I was like, why would you say that? And he's like, my brother Ezek is making a covers record, and he might want to do The Storm. Would you sing on it? And I go, and so I was like, yeah, for you, I would do it for you. Right. But I guess that record was already recorded, so they couldn't add another song, so that fell through. But so Tavi is my boy, and he's like, hey, some of the guys got a radio show. They're into talking to you if you want to do it. They're really cool. And he hooked me up with, Cuz and Lawrence and Busky and shit. And I wound up doing that radio show, which was also part of that lead up to the whole Judge thing. Because I remember I went to see that Gorilla Biscuit show, and I remember I met Cuz, and he got us like a table, where we could just enjoy the show upstairs. And then right before Gorilla Biscuits go on, and I hadn't seen people in so long. So as I'm right by their dressing room, so I see Wally walk by. I'm like, holy shit, there's Wally. It's like fucking crazy. And I see fucking Arthur walk by, and Arthur's like so skinny. And I was like, I turned to my wife and go, oh my God, Arthur's sick. She's like, what? I go, look at Arthur. He's so skinny. He's sick. But it was just Arthur. But
Arthur being vegan,
Yeah, it was just vegan Arthur. Yeah. But so right before Gorilla Biscuits go on, fucking Siv calls me over. He's like, we're gonna do New York Crew. What do you think about coming down and singing? And I looked at the crowd and how many people were there. I was like, no way, brother. Yeah, there's just no way I'm stepping in front of that many people.
No way I'm getting into that.
And so we sat up there and fucking watched it. And they did New York Crew, and I was like looking at the crowd, and the crowd was like singing along and shit. And there was a little bit of jealousy there. I was like, damn, I want to feel that again, And that was it. I went home a couple days later. I was thinking about it, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And so I wound up calling Cuz, and I was like, hey,
you called Cuz?
Yeah, I called Cuz. I was like, hey, that next year's Black and Blue. If it's cool, I'd like to play it with Judge.
Fuck
And he's
yeah.
like, yeah. And I was thinking like, yeah, you know, Judge would play somewhere during the day, it'd be cool. Never in my mind would I think about headlining something like that. So
Headline,
that whole thing was just a mind fuck, you know, like how that happened.
not just headlining. The first show sold out, and they put a second show on sale, and that almost sold out.
Yeah, that was a mind fuck. Because I was like, holy shit, what happens if people walk out, you know? And
Yeah, it was. I
it was
saw.
crazy.
I saw those shows, man. You guys brought it. It was really great. It was really a great moment. You guys brought it, and you know the energy was palpable, and people were super excited, and yeah, it brought you back, man. Like Alan said, it brought you back, Mike. It was like, you know, our family, our brotherhood, the community, the culture. You know, it was just so good to have you back, man. It's awesome.
Yeah,
You know?
it was crazy, man. Because like the second show gets added, and like I had. Basically, they told me how it usually went down because I was gone for so long. They're like, there's usually like a after show someplace else where bands play.
Yeah.
But because the Judge thing happened, that they were going to add Judge to the second show, and it's going to be at Webster Hall and shit. And so I was like, all right. So like, what happens there? It's like it's going to be the same thing. You're going to fucking headline. And I was like, well, do those other bands know about this? Because it's already their show, and now we're being added, and we're going to headline it. And I was looking at the bill, and it was like, you know, Madball and shit. And I'm like, hey, you know, I'm not stepping on anybody's toes. I'm like, fucking Madball is still together. Like, this is crazy.
Too, like the last thing I want to do is come back after 20 years and start stepping on like Freddie Madball's feet, you know?
Yeah, and they fucking, they're like, when I go there, they're like, there's Freddie. I'm like, Freddie, where's Freddie? I'm like, that dude. And I'm like, that's Freddie? because when I walked away, he didn't look like that.
Yeah, he was a kid.
Yeah. And yeah, I remember fucking seeing Ezek and, you know, pulling him aside, go, I just want you to know there's no disrespect here, us headlining and shit. Like,
yeah.
I got so much respect for everyone here.
You know what's a memory that I have? I guess it might have been the year after or the year before. There was a Black and Blue Ball outdoors, and this picture was taken right off the stage. And you and me were sitting on the rail watching this on the side of the stage watching this band.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Crowd.
It was like you and me, and we're just like, you know, it was a lot of newer kids there, and Kraut was playing, and you and me were right on the side, like, yo, this is fucking Kraut. This is a band. You know,
who sounded as good as Kraut in those early days? Like, that band was super, and that fucking Adjustment to Society is fucking.
Love it, man.
It's just an incredible record.
Yeah, and a lot of people, you know, and the Kraut is kind of one of those bands that's has gotten a little bit lost in the swirling sands of time. You know, it's like, you know, you sort of have to do shit to keep up your legacy. If you don't play and stuff like that, you kind of fall out of the, like bands like The Abused, like, yo, they don't play. A lot of kids coming up don't really know about them. And that's sort of what's happened to Kraut a little bit. But, yo, there was a time, and you remember in New York City, with Kraut was on top of the heat, man. They were the number one New York hardcore band.
No doubt. I remember probably the first live punk rock music I ever heard was me and that same kid Pete. They took us to, I think it was one of the big parks. I don't know if it was Central Park or whatnot, but it was like, I think it was like
Tompkins?
I don't think it was Tompkins, but there were all these bands playing. I remember there was this band Conk playing.
Oh, yeah, I remember them. Sure.
And we waited all day in the middle of the fucking summer. It's hot as a motherfucker. And then finally Kraut played. They were the only punk rock band to play. And it was like fucking amazing.
That
was a big park.
Must it Prospect Park? in
I
Brooklyn.
wish I knew, man.
Yeah.
But it was like, I remember there was like fucking, it might have been like to legalize weed or something, because they were throwing like burlap bags of fucking weed out of like a helicopter, some crazy shit.
Go on every year, man. That whole May Day pot parade thing, you know.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's do this, man. Let me do a final shout out here, and let's come back and take some questions, huh?
Cool.
Well, there you go. A great show, rich in New York hardcore history and folklore. Our guest today is Mike Judge from Youth of Today, Death Before Dishonor, and Judge. We are the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, the Texas Silver Rush, Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards, Your Core Hardcore fan page, and Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards. Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards are located in Lakewood, Colorado, is the Rocky Mountain headquarters for all things punk, hardcore, and metal. Established in 2014, they have the largest selection of records, CDs, shirts, stickers, patches, and accessories between Chicago and LA. From the pit to the ditch, they got your back. Get in touch with them at www.chainreactionrecords.com. Just want to remind everybody, upcoming shows. Next show coming up on Wednesday, Nancy Burrell is going to be here talking about her new book. December 13th, Gary Meskel from the Crumbsuckers. December 16th, Todd Morse from The Offspring and H2O. December 20th is the Global Unity Show with Lai from Unregenerate Blood and Riz from King Lai Chi. December 23rd is the Holiday Show. We're doing the Holiday Show. It's going to be cool. We're going to bring all kinds of special guests on the show. Not going to announce like any specific guest, but it's sort of like the People's Show. We want to bring on just all you guys, people that we love, our sponsors, people that have been on the show. So it's going to be like a long holiday show. That's what's up with that. December 27th, John Joseph will be on the show. December 30th, Randy Blythe. And then January 3rd, we just announced it, Crucified for Your Sins, Sob Gray from Iron Cross. Also, if you don't know, just real quick, there is a Patreon page. Please contribute, be a part of it. There's a PayPal and there's a Patreon. Please support this show. Come in from the darkness, be a supporter of the show. That's how I could do this. I honestly could do this because of your support. You think I like to get on here and fucking shuck and jive like this for support? I don't really like doing it. But the show needs support. You love the show. I love doing the show. Please support the show. That's that. Not going to go on about it anymore. Got to shout out my new patrons. Brian Ramsey, I know you're watching, bro. Thank you. Thank you for your hell of a contribution, bro. Thank you. GP, Andrew Shaw, Bill Ferry, Jamie Sharapa from SSD Control, Mary Diane Nowitzki, and also Devor Gajovic. Thank you all. I think that covers it. Also, Women in the Pit on Facebook, the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live Comments crew on Facebook. Also, I want to, who am I missing? I think that's everybody, right? Cool. You know, did I miss it? Oh, fuck, I think I did. Fuck. Somebody did a super chat, and I got so wrapped up talking to Mike. Damn. Thank you for the super chat. Also available in the chat room is the super chat. If you want to contribute to the show, you can do a $2 super chat, a $5 super chat. If there's a burning question you must ask, and don't make it friggin' silly. If there's a burning question you want to ask, do like a $2 super chat or a $5 super chat. That'll get my attention quick, you know? That said, Drew, let's do a Bronx documentary. Sure. Don't be a lurker. Support the show. Support the show. Support you scumbags. All right. There you go. December is stacked. The whole show is, good things are happening with this show. I'm so fortunate. I'm so blessed. You know, I appreciate it. I really do. I'm doing something I love doing. I didn't plan it, but that's the way it's Paul Rowland. Thank you, Paul Rowland. Thank you, brother. We're going to come back. Let's take some questions from Mike Judge. Post up your questions. Nothing silly, please. Let's keep it let's keep it clean, people. Let me get the banners off. Let me get off the banners. Sid the Kid, thank you for that. All right, let's start with this. Hey, Mike, question from GP. Does Mike still ride? And if so, what?
It's been like a year. Still have the same bike I've always had. It's a 89 Softail that's now rigid. And it's back in New Jersey. There's schism between me and my brother about it. So that's going to get handled one way or the other. And then I'll be back.
Okay. This is from May, our darling May in London. After he phoned Cuz, did he phone the rest of the band to ask them? How did they react? I would love to have heard those calls.
I love May. May's like a real friend.
Absolutely.
And I did, I don't remember how soon. I think I called one guy each night because I didn't want to.
You didn't want to overwhelm the system.
Yeah. Most of them were, Purcell was like, of course. And Sammy was like, of course.
Yep.
Thought you'd never ask kind of deal. But May is like, I remember I met May like one of the first times I went to Europe, once this whole thing happened. And, I think it was like one of the big fests because I've never played a fest. I didn't even know what a fucking fest was.
Yeah, they didn't really exist the first time around.
Yeah. And it was like, I think it was like Hyperfest or Grows Rock or something like that. And I was like, you know what? I really got to see what this shit's about. I'm going to go for a fucking walk. And I started walking and all of a sudden she's like walking the other way and she goes, hey, you're Mike Judge. And I was like, yeah, okay. That's when I met her and shit. And after that, I see her like, I've seen her in Philly. I've seen her in New York. I've seen her everywhere. Yeah, she's the coolest.
Right on. Here's our question of the day from our in-house resident historian, Chucky Brown. He says, his wife didn't know he was in a band for 8 or 9 years and found out a few months before the reunion Black and Blue Bowl. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, I just never told her. I just didn't think it was something anybody would want to know because it was so far back in my rearview mirror, I never really thought like anything like that. And then when things started happening, I was like, I should tell her. I was like, listen, I'm thinking about getting together with my old friends that we were in a band together. And she was like, what kind of band? I was like, it was a band called Judge. And then I left it at that or something. Because I remember she was working for a dentist at the time. And like she called me on her lunch. She's just like, oh my God, I fucking Googled you guys. You guys got a video. And she's like freaking out. And she's like, I'm like, why didn't you tell me? I was like, I didn't think it was something anybody cared about anymore.
Wow.
It's just one of those things. It's not like I had like Judge records and shit. Like I got these things on the wall now because these are recent things, or not recent, but the newer shit. But I never had record. Like when Judge got back together, I was like, how can I fucking find the music again? I'm going to have to go fucking download it. Is Napster still around? I don't even fucking know.
That is awesome. It's not as though you have a bunch of copies of Chung King Can Suck It in the closet.
Oh, right? No. I gave those out as I got them. Here, you want this piece of shit? Here, take this one. I think one I used is like a Frisbee and shit.
Reminds me of the Frisbee story of, when I joined Antidote, a little bit before that, Arthur Googie played drums in Antidote, right? And he was in the Misfits, and he left the Misfits, and there's always a lag time, and then they put out 3 Hits from Hell that he plays drums on, and he came to the rehearsal with a bunch of Misfits 3 Hits from Hell, and he put it on, and they're goofing on it, and they open up the window of the rehearsal room and start chucking them out the window one after the other, after the other, after the other. Probably 20 Misfit original Misfits 3 Hits from Hell, at least 20. I'm like, whew. You know?
Dude,
So,
you wanna hear my cool misfit story?
sure.
I'm fucking walking down St. Mark's. It's like before lunchtime on a weekday, right?
Right.
And I'm walking behind this guy. He's got like a leather jacket with spikes on it and shit, and he's carrying a box. So he fucking goes up the steps to that record store.
I know where
What's
this.
that?
I know where this is going, and I like it.
So we're walking down St. Mark's. He goes up the steps to go into Sounds, you know that record store?
Come
So
on.
I'm like, I'll go in. I got time to kill. So I fucking go in. I'm looking at the records and shit, and I'm hearing him talking to the guy. He's got a box he wants to sell of 7 inches, right? And I'm hearing him, and he's listing like Who Killed Marilyn, 3 Hits from Hell, all of them, brother. Halloween, fucking.
Yeah.
So I'm like, holy shit. So he just gets done selling them.
Right.
I turn around, go up to the guy. I go, how much you want for those records? Dude, I bought all those records for like $2 a piece. It's like fucking so sick. And I fucking walked home, got on a train, went to Brooklyn. And I was like, hey guys, check this shit out. I had all the fucking Misfits records.
That's awesome. You know,
sick.
I thought this story was going to somehow blend into a story I have, and it goes something like, so I'm up in St. Mark's. I'm up in Sounds in St. Mark's, right? And I'm sort of, you go in there, what we used to do back then. You go there and you wander around. Glenn Danzig walks in with a bunch of records. Misfits Evil Live. Remember the 7-inch, the live small one?
Right. Yeah.
Just came out, and he was bringing a stack to St. Mark's Sounds, who always sold his stuff. And I'm standing right there. I see the transaction go down, and as soon as he walks away, I walk up and I'm like, I'll take one of those. And I bought a Misfits Evil Live that was numbered number 15. And I had that for years after Glenn walked in. That said, another super chat, and thank you. Anybody who does a super chat, man, I'll provided it's not something totally ridiculous. I'll get that question right on there. Mike, what do you think about the Vice doc that turned out? How was the experience?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought I think that was the first time I really tried to explain exactly who I was and why I was the way I was. And it was fun to make, those guys Sammy was a big part of making that happen also. And it was great. They followed us down to Texas. When we played fun and shit. I'm pretty proud of it.
Good. To do, doing my homework for this show, I watched the whole thing, all 4 parts. I thought it was done well. I thought Sammy did a great job, and everybody else involved. It was very informative. It was shot well. It was very well. It was very educational, and listen, I do a lot of homework for these shows, and that was very helpful. I found that very helpful. Very, very well done. How did you choose Judge as the band's name?
I mean, just because of a lot of the criticism that Youth of Today was getting was I remember Maximum Rock and Roll were saying these obnoxious straight edge kids, they're borderline Nazis the way they act and shit, and we get a lot of criticism like that. So when I was trying to think of a name of band, I was just what name could I come up with to to be that elitist. I was just trying to be a dick. I just wanted to give them what they thought Youth of Today was. I wanted to be that. I wanted to it was all one big fuck you to all those types of people.
I love the bit about I know when you I don't want to say disappear, but when you sort of when you went and did your thing for 20 years there was all these kind of crazy kind of really funny rumors going around, and one of them was I got Great rumor. This is from my notes. Great rumor. Ferraro now raises chickens on a family farm in West Virginia, despite the band's once militant straight edge message. Is that right? You raising chickens in Virginia at some point?
No.
This is not a fucking.
I did grow up on a farm.
Oh, okay.
Though, like my father, my grandmother lived on Mulberry Street in the city.
Uh-huh.
When had my father, they moved into New Jersey, into West New York, New Jersey.
Uh-huh.
My father was still hanging out in the city, and he liked to race pigeons. That's like a thing. So he had a pigeon coop on some rooftop, and he would fucking race his pigeons. And so every weekend when he would do this, he would go further out west into Jersey and then race his pigeons back to the city. And he kept going out until he found, Tawaco, New Jersey, and he loved it. And so that's where he built his house. That's how I wound up in Jersey.
Got it.
So he started a farm. So it was a livestock farm. So from a fucking early age, I'd wake up in the morning with pets and go to bed at night. My pets were dinner. So.
Got it.
It's an ugly scene, brother. It's an ugly, ugly scene.
Absolutely. What did I see this? Oh, you think I'm judgmental? Well, here's my band, Judge.
Exactly.
Exactly. You fucks. Somebody, a friend of ours wants to come on and say hi. Let me clear the deck a little bit. He's a big part of the show. Let's do his quick intro. Here we go.
Rackbone! 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 Rackbone!
What's up?
Yo, what up? What up?
Rap Bones.
There you go.
Thanks, everybody. Great show today, guys.
That's a great one. What do you got? What do you got for us? What do you got for us, Rap Bones?
I just want to say to Mike, we've been friends for so many years, and the word legend gets thrown around a lot, but like Judge was that legendary band. I think up until Judge really like Slapshot, I wasn't really onto the Boston because so long ago I always thought it was like Boston, New York beef back then, so I didn't really care about Boston bands that much. But it was Slapshot I knew, and up until that point. Youth of today would have told you, hey, man, it's not cool to smoke. Judge would have slapped a cigarette out of your hand, and it was a little more hard-edged. But I don't know, here in the place you come from now, we're so similar, in this scene. We're all like a bunch of misfits that found a better way to be, and we were always all inclusive. Everyone was allowed, even if our views were opposable like that. But even the guys that I hung out, that we were so strung out doing what we were doing, we heard that message in your music, and there was that hope for us too, even though we were in the throes of that, So it was really, I want you to know you really helped me a lot in life,
I appreciate it, brother. I mean, like I said, I don't come from. It's not pretty where I come from, and I know what it's like to grow up that way and to have it around you, and nothing was ever expected of me. Like guys where I'm from, we don't go anywhere, and most likely we just OD and are forgotten about. It's fucking 3/4 of my family's story, so I had to get mad about it somehow.
Hey, Rap Bones.
Yeah.
What's happening here?
Oh, this was.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh, this was. This was all accidental. I mean, getting hurt at a hardcore show is part of the gig, But I just know Judge was playing at the B&B at the Brooklyn Bazaar, and I had to be a part of that. When they opened up, Porcel reached out and we clasped hands. It was just it was so weird. And then I let him go and I crowd floated over, and I had got pushed off the crowd, And, we're in a new time now. These kids ain't all there for hardcore, And as I was coming down, I saw 4 girls, and I just saw the 4 screens of the phone. Like, I knew I was going to hit the floor. So I came over, and there's like a little ledge there, and I smacked my head on the ledge. So I go downstairs to my merch booth, and I taped it up with some duct tape. And then it was like, yo, again from the front row, and I was like, I realized, I saw all the cameras. I was like, let me take this off. And I felt it bleeding. And then, the rest is history, man. All the photogs got a photo of it. But, we bleed for this, man.
That's why we love Rat Bones, man.
Yeah, man.
Like I was saying before, the first time I met Rat Bones was when Judge played Detroit, like one of the first times.
A Detroit story. Let's go.
And fucking Rat Bones introduced himself, and he's like, I snuck out of rehab for this show, man. So of course we're stoked for that. But the thing about Rat Bones is, especially like, say you're in a band, right? And you got this gig and you're just not fucking feeling it. You're fucking tired or whatever. It's middle end of a tour. You're fucking beat. You just got to get through the gig. And then you see a guy like Rat Bones getting ready to go off, and you're in the back of your mind, you're just like, all right, I don't have to work so hard tonight because Rat Bones is going to do the job for you. And that's what it was, man. That fucking B&B. I mean, we were stoked to go, man, because whenever we start off with Fed Up, we know we're going to get it tonight. Like there's no fucking around. We're starting off on a high note, and we're going to fucking kill it. And then having Rat Bones there to boot, it was just like, it was a perfect storm. And then when blood started flying, we're like, yep, our job is done here.
Welcome to the party.
I just want to thank you for stepping back into the arena. You know what I mean? Like, it means a lot to us out here. It's, what we do is real. It's our existence. It really, truly is. It's hardcore, man. All day.
I appreciate it, brother. I want to see that Cold as Life documentary that you're in. I want to see that fucking get finished and come out.
Yeah, that wasn't released, but I do know there's a documentary on Detroit coming out now called Blood, Hookers, and Pavement, an imagining of Detroit in the 80s. It's got bands like NA and Son of Sam and Heresy and the King Brothers. So yeah, that's coming out.
Sick.
Let me ask you, Mike. When Judge got back together, you guys really went out and did things that you guys went around the world and played shows. Like you guys went into some nooks and crannies. What was it like because the first time around the merry-go-round, Judge was like a local band. I mean, not local. I mean, you guys got out west and stuff, but to come back and you guys played some huge shows overseas. What was that like for someone that was out of the scene for 20 years to come back and like all of a sudden like kind of be thrown in that world? What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, my head was spinning for a lot of the time. A big part of it, Civ plays like a super huge role in all this because he was constantly giving me like pep talks. He's like, you're gonna fucking love this. Judge is fucking awesome and deserves it and deserves this, and you deserve this. And just think the places you're gonna go, and you're gonna take your wife, and you're gonna have fun. And then I was thinking about it, and I was like looking at these places, and I was like, my wife is the fucking definition of ride or die. I mean, she is a fucking stud. Right. And she's been with me in the worst of times and never said a word. And she deserves as much as I can possibly come up with for her. And so all those places where Judge was invited to come and was welcome to, those were like, a normal guy like me is never bringing her there. But for some reason, this fucking old, dirty punk rock hardcore band is like, come here and bring your band and we'll show you a good time. And that's what that was like, man. I was like, it was worth it just to see her like take pictures of some fucking place and like tell her friends, guess where I was, you know, even if it was like looking out the window of a fucking van, you know, it doesn't fucking matter. We were there, you know?
Yeah.
Those are special times, man.
Absolutely. And it's so nice that you got to do that, you know, with her. Our friend and supporter says, Robert Hogg says Judge played Glasgow and it was fucking killer.
Glasgow was fucking killer.
And,
I don't know if this is the guy I talked to that night, but I was like talking to this dude and I was just like nodding my head because I could not understand a fucking word that dude said.
Oh,
and then
it's him.
And then I think it was like either his girlfriend or wife. She was actually American, and she I mean, he's not talking a different language. His accent was so crazy. It was like fucking Braveheart, man. And I'm like, what the fuck is? I don't know what this guy's saying. And so she came over and she translated.
No, it's probably him. It's probably Robert. He's a big supporter of the show. But yeah, you know, and it is like, and just one more time on that, it's so nice to be able to go out there and do that stuff with your loved one. You know, it's like, you know, we're gonna go do this stuff together, and you know, and at this age where we're at now, it's not just about, yo, let me go with my knucklehead friends, you know, and travel and be all about like, you know, with my knucklehead friends. We're a little bit older now, and you know, I think everyone kind of realizes too, not everyone, but some of us realize, you know what, if Mike wants to bring his wife and it's going to make him happy and make him a better Mike, for sure, absolutely. You know, and that's how we do it in the band I'm in. It's like, hey, yo, if it's going to make you a happy dude on the road, absolutely, man. You know,
the truth.
Yep. Yep. Maddie says, I saw Judge in Sweden. It was awesome. So, oh, you know what? I think, I don't know if you would recognize it, but here's our boy Robert Hogg from Glasgow. There he is, rocking the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live sweatshirt, shirt, and of course the mug. If you're wondering where to get this stuff, go underneath. There's a link to all the merch. Also, the Do Good Things, the Good Things Will Come to You shirt. So go do that. So that said, let's wrap it up. Let me bring on Sid and Steven and Rat Bones. How you guys doing?
Good. How you doing?
Chilling.
Good. Sid, you got anything for Mike? Anyone you want to shout out on the way out the door?
No, actually, I just wanted to say that the
tonight the role of Sid will be played by Steven Messina. Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead, Steven. You got the floor, brother.
The Webster Hall show, which I was shooting most of the show, when Judge went on, I actually had to put my camera away because I wanted to get closer, and my camera was not going to survive from where I was standing. And it's one of the few shows that I have no photos of the show, but I was right there. And I just keep hoping when things open up again to get another shot. And just great stories today, and just it all comes from it's really the true definition of why I personally like to make music, because it takes all the things that go into you and you bring them out and you turning them to something amazing. And I think that's really the best part of this.
I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah. And yes, Mike, that was our boy Robert Hogg that you talked to. That was him. So just goes to show. Jamie from SSD Control, great stories, Mike. Another great one in the vault, Drew. Jamie, thank you, man. What can I say? Rat Bones, you got anything for Mike on the way out?
Mike, it was just great. It was, peeling the onion up like that. It was awesome, man. It's great to hear you share like that, man. You know, you've impacted so many lives, and you're such a humble guy. It's really, really honor to know you, brother.
Sorry, Mike. Sorry, I muted you by accident, Mike. Go ahead.
Honor to know you too, my brother.
Cool. Sid, you're on.
Well, Mike, I just want to thank you for being on the show. And honestly, even seeing you back then, I can't say the most straight edge kid back even then. Took me quite a few years to even be sober. And now to see you guys play once again, those songs mean more to me now than they did 30 years ago. Like, it really impacts me. And I know it impacts a lot of people to this day, and shows that, you know, your band is relevant, especially now in this day and age.
I appreciate it, brother.
Cool. All right, Rap Bones and Rap Bones. We'll see. Huh?
Shout out Sunday.
Yeah, shout out. It's shout out Sunday. Go ahead.
Give a shout out really quick to all our bands, man. Ache, Kings Never Die, Dead Blow Hammer, Inzaguri, Reaching Out, Last Stand, Crazy Eddie, all the Rampage Mosh crew, End of Hope, Silence Equals Death. Shout out, happy holidays to everybody. And my big shout outs going out to Cousin Joe, Jeff Canills and Roy Boyle, Cold as Life, whole Detroit family, son of Sam Lacey, David Landrum, Gordy, Bird, Dougie. Love all you guys out in Detroit. And of course, everyone in New York Hardcore. Happy holidays, guys.
Well done, Rap Bones. We'll see you later.
No.
Later, Rap Bones.
Sid the Kid, what do you got to say? Shouting out anyone?
Nah, it's all good, man. It's been such a great show, man. This is all worth it today.
Thank you, Sid. We'll talk to you soon.
Easy, Sid.
Stephen Messina, any shout outs?
No shout outs. Just thank you again.
Okay. And listen, Stephen, we'll talk soon, man. We just you and me, we just put together, we just booked about 8 shows, and man, this show is booked for months in advance, and holy mackerel, you know?
Oh, yeah. People have no idea what's coming.
I'll talk to you soon, man. Thank you.
Later, Steve.
Let's just do another question or two. Let's see what else. Pretty interesting. Fun show, Mike. We have fun.
That's good, man.
I
enjoy it.
I did too, man. I really did. I really, it's really a fun show, man. What is this? Oh, here's an interesting one. Chucky Brown says, engineer producer Tom Soares produced many like Britney Spears, The Roots. Really? Erica Badayu, Redman. How was it recording with him? Tom Soares must have engineered Bringing It Down. Do you remember him?
Yeah, he's like a perfectionist, but coming out of Chung King to that, it was like night and day. And I wasn't there for the tracking of the music, and there was where we didn't have a bass player at the time, so Purcell was going to play bass, and he was just, Tom wasn't having it. He was like, "You're playing the bass like a guitar. You could bring me a bass player." And that's how we got Pincus. He was like thrown in there last minute and did a fucking stellar fucking job.
Right.
But they were like, what are we going to do about Mike? Because Mike doesn't take to, being yelled at and shit very well. And, what we're going to do. And so they were like telling Tom all these stories about me. So by the time I got down there, he was like, he didn't want to like set me off in any way, so he treated me with kid gloves, but he did get like incredible performances. And the thing was, the other recording of Chung King, the way the dude treated me in the vocals was so bad that what this guy was doing, it really felt like he was respecting what I was trying to do and shit, and like his direction was much appreciated.
Listen, man, I know as a vocalist, it's hard. You're up there, you're screaming your brains out, and it helps to have some friggin' support,
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, seriously. Mike, while on hiatus, did you do any other music other than the Old Smoke? Also, were you ever recognized during those 20 years by any hardcore kids, like in the store, like, oh shit, you're Mike Judge?
No, never. I was like, most of that time I spent like, in and around motorcycle clubs, and that was pretty much a million miles away from where I was. So the paths never really crossed.
Did you have any idea while you were away from the hardcore world? Did you have any idea that the Chung King record was like turned into this super expensive and rare record? Did you have any idea of that stuff?
I kind of knew. I didn't know exactly how much, but I kind of knew because a friend of mine really wanted another one. And I was like, why you want another one? What'd you do with the other? What'd you do with the one I gave you? He's like, oh, I got it on my wall. I was like, well, why you want this one? And he's like, oh, no. And he wanted me to sign it, but he didn't want me to sign it by like to so-and-so. He didn't want me to, he just wanted my name. I'm like, what the hell is this about? You know? And then I found out.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Really?
Oh man, that's something else. Here's a good one. This is from the Rev Nick from the Car Bomb Parade. Which one of your songs could you listen to over and over?
There's actually like a couple, really. I mean, the song I'm most proud of is the song "The Storm." I think it's everything I want to say about that subject. And then the song that means most to me, because I think it's the most personal thing I've ever written, which about me, is the song "Forget This Time."
Wow. Okay. Hey, listen, thank you for being on the show, Mike. We had a couple of laughs. We connected, and that's the real currency in this life. So I love you, man, and thanks for being a part of it. You're welcome here anytime, man.
Drew, I love what you're doing. From the fucking bottom of my black broken heart, I want to say thank you for including me in the things that you have done. I 150% appreciate you, brother. And SSD control forever.
Oh man!
Did you ask if I'm minded for my eyes to be blinded?
I did.
Come on, Al.
Oh,
Al, get the band back together. I am ready, brother.
Yeah, I'm ready too, man. Hey, and you know what? And while we're here, just a reminder, everybody, the next show on Wednesday, Nancy Burrell is going to be on the show with a lot of great Philadelphia history and some Boston hardcore history. And of course, we'll be talking about SSD Control and her great new book, I'm Not Holding Your Coat. So,
Sick.
Mike, I'll talk to you soon, man.
Okay, brother. I appreciate
Take care,
it,
man. All right.
Thank you.
Bye. Wow. Well, there you go. Shit. Even made me tear up in the end, man. You know, that was incredible. That was an incredible show. I'm so fortunate to be doing something that I love doing and have your support doing it. So thank you all so much. Nancy, don't worry. No Al stories. Nope. You're your own person. We're not doing Al stories on the show. Oh, man. What a great show. Wow. Yes, it was a great show. Bill Luck, thank you. Chucky Brown, bro, thank you for what you bring to the show. GP, great questions, my man. Federico, absolutely. SS Judge Control. That's awesome. Absolutely. That's the tour. That's right, Al Burrell. It's Judge and SSD Control, and I'm available if you need anything. If you need a tour manager, actually, you know what? I don't want a tour manage. Yes, Jamie from SSD Control, get ready. Get your chops together. It's the Judge SSD tour coming in 2024, right? Okay, I'm not crying. You're crying. I know he choked me up, man. Mike got me. He choked me up. Takes a lot to make me cry these days, Old hardcore. You know what? Old hardcore dudes. They fuck me up. Like Roger and Mike Judge, like Vinny Stigma. They just. Oh man, crazy, right? I love this show so much. Thank you, May. I love you, and thank you so much. Did we break a New York Hardcore Chronicles record? We might have. We might have. Drew gonna get SSD control back together again. Listen, it's not up to me to get SSD control back together again. It's really, you know, it's those guys, you know. So, but I would certainly lend my services or do anything I could to make it, to see it happen, you know. There you go. That said, listen, whew, on behalf of myself and Steven Messina and Sid the Kid and Rat Bones, I want to thank you all for supporting this show. We will see you on Wednesday with Nancy Burrell. Until then, do things and good things will come to you.